Good evening, everyone. Hello and welcome along to the Sports Corner Live. We are back once again for night 4 of the Premier League of Darts. And my word, what a night it was last night. The most incredible night of action. And, well, we're only on night number 3. Let's hope it gets even better tonight. We've got some massive games coming up, including a big fixture between James Wade and Michael van Gerwen. And of course, to start the night, we've got a big game also between Dimitri, Vandenberg alongside Peter Wright. I know a lot of you are in the chat welcoming everyone, just to make sure that everybody knows. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube stream, please do leave a like and subscription. It is greatly appreciated indeed for all of you that haven't left a sub yet. We are up to 2,000 subscribers, so a massive thank you to everybody that has subscribed to the channel. But let's get rid of the opening screen. How are we doing tonight? Hope you're all good, everyone. Resaying 2 minutes late. I started at 7:05. It's all good, it's all good. But no, seriously, what a night it was last night. An incredible evening of action overall. Really exciting. And I can't wait for more action tonight. We've got some big games coming up, including Dimitri Vandenberg, who's up against Peter Wright a little bit later on. It's going to be about 5 or 10 minutes away. But just to make sure, for those of you wondering in the chat, the stream will not be showing the games live. I put it in the title for the watch-along. The reason why is because, of course, as always, copyright is a big problem for us. So, unfortunately, we can't show it. I would highly recommend, if you are wanting to watch it, if you're in the UK, it's on Sky Sports. I think if you're living abroad, it's on pdc.tv. If not, check twitch.tv. But don't tell anybody I've said that, because it will probably be on there. But as I said last night, it was an incredible night of action. And apparently, Osti van Osterman said, "What's up, Josh? My mate told you was drunk the other night." I wasn't even drunk. I only had 2 cans of gin. I'm just always excited for the darts. You love to see it. And as I said a moment ago, the reason why I was excited last night is because we got our first 9-darter for quite some time. The last one in the Premier League was Daryl Gurney. He got one. Sorry, it wasn't Daryl Gurney. It was against him. It was Peter Wright against Daryl Gurney. But last night, go Johnny, go. Johnny Clayton hit a 9-darter. This was the reaction that I had on stream last night. It's 4-3 now, and this is a pretty good game. A pretty good game, you have to admit. 105 average for de Sousa. As Johnny Clayton looks to respond with a 180 of his own, and it's brilliant from Johnny Clayton. That's the 4th of the match. And a chance to get himself into the driving seat of this next leg. Close saying definitely F1 next week. I don't like missing any races. Yeah, I thought he was. That's why I was a bit confused at first. But there's 4. There's 5. Is there 6? Oh yes, there's 6. Here we go. Chance for the 9-darter. This will be the 3rd chance of the night. As Carl's in the building. Hope you're good. Jose de Sousa, though, he's looking for a 180 of his own. And gets a 140. So, Johnny Clayton here needs the treble 20. Gets it. Treble 19. Double 12 for the 9-darter. Oh, he's done it! Johnny Clayton with the 9-darter. We've been waiting for the darting holy grail, and Clayton does it. It's brilliant. That's what you want to see. We've been waiting for a 9-darter for so long. Please tell me you could hear that. Tubbs said, "What happened to the audio?" It's a shame if you couldn't hear it, but it was a great moment last night, of course. A brilliant reaction yesterday from that match between Johnny Clayton and, of course, Jose de Sousa. A game where Jose de Sousa averaged 108, didn't even win. That's darts for you. Bloody love it indeed. But let's have a look at today's fixtures. We've got a really good night of action. Dimitri Vandenberg coming up against Peter Wright in just a moment's time. We've got Johnny Clayton, the 9-darter hero. He comes up against Rob Cross in game number 2 of the evening. Jose de Sousa, he comes up against Nathan Aspinall. Big opportunity for Aspinall to keep with the rest of the top 2. I think it's Vandenberg and Van Gerwen on 5 points. We'll have a look in a second. Talk about Van Gerwen. Wade v Van Gerwen. Big moment, of course, for Van Gerwen to continue his consistency at the top of the table. James Wade struggling overall so far. And then the final game of the night, Gary Anderson, he comes up against Glen Durrant, who really needs to try and stop the rot. So lots of games coming up, and most importantly, let's take a look at the table and see how things are looking after the first 3 nights of action. And as you can see, Glen Durrant, of course, sat bottom of the league on 0 points. Really frustrating for him. Just doesn't seem to be able to get anything going right now. He's got to try and stop the rot tonight against Gary Anderson. When you look at the top of the table, we've got 3 players all on 5 points. Dimitri Vandenberg is at the top of the table. Michael van Gerwen is in second. And then, of course, Johnny Clayton, he is in third with that big 9-darter. Nathan Aspinall in fourth, not doing too bad at all. Very good start indeed. And then the rest of the pack, Rob Cross, Gary Anderson, Peter Wright on 3 points, Jose de Sousa. Without a win so far, he gets 1 point on the board. So it's still quite tight. Quite surprising, I think, for a lot of people that we haven't had somebody who's won 3 games in a row. But it just proves how tight this Premier League is going to be. So, as we always have done throughout our entirety of our show, I'm going to keep continuing to do it if you guys enjoy it. I made my predictions before the tournament even started for the first game of the night, which is Dimitri Vandenberg up against Peter Wright. This was the prediction I made. I'm not going to lie. If I'm correct, I'm a little bit worried about this prediction. Here it is. So I said tonight should be a good night. Maybe not for my predictions. I've really, I guess I've gone very punty. Maybe is the word to say. I don't even think that's a word, if I'm being honest with you. But I've gambled tonight on my predictions with some very interesting ones across the board. And game number 1 tonight starts us off with Dimitri Vandenberg against Peter Wright. And I think I've been very nice to Peter Wright along this tournament so far. And I think I've been very harsh to Dimitri Vandenberg. I said, look, being a debutant is always going to be tough in the Premier League. When you're coming up against the likes of Peter Wright, Gary Anderson, Gerwyn Price, MVG, it's going to be tough to pick up points against them. Tonight, however, is the night where Dimitri Vandenberg does pick up points against these boys. And I've gone for a 6-6 draw against Peter Wright. Now, this would actually be Peter Wright's technically second 6-6 draw in a row based on my predictions. He, of course, picked up a 6-6 draw against Gary Anderson the night before. I think Dimitri Vandenberg's got it in his locker. He can always beat some of these big players. In fact, we've seen him do it many times before. He's beat some of the bigger players across the board in the PDC. And I think tonight might be the night where he doesn't necessarily win, but a draw would not be a bad result for either player. I think Peter Wright would be a little bit more frustrated than Dimitri Vandenberg would be. But look, I'm going for a stalemate tonight. There'll be a few more of those in my predictions. 6-6 Dimitri Vandenberg, Peter Wright. Do put your predictions in the chat as always. It'd be nice to know what you guys are predicting throughout the show tonight. And who knows, maybe we might have a few correct predictions in the chat. But 6-6 for me between Vandenberg and Peter Wright. That's my prediction. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I actually don't think that's as bad as a prediction as I thought. I think 6-6 is a very respectable prediction based on what I guessed at the start of the tournament before it even started. And I guess even now, when you look at it in that respect, a 6-6 would be very respectable for both players who played really well last night. But just going to quickly go through the comments. I know there's a lot of you guys in here and I want to get through them all. First of all, Reese Allen, first member of Sports Corner Premium. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Thank you very much, Reese, for the subscription. You're an absolute legend. You get yourself some exclusive benefits on the channel. Chris, of course, he's in the building. I hope you're good as always. Chris, he's put his predictions in the chat. He thinks this game is going to end 7-4 to Dimitri Vandenberg. I mean, I think tonight is a fantastic night. All the games, apart from maybe one, look quite hard to predict overall. Ostivan, of course, he's in the building as well. Good to see you, buddy. He says, looking in the chat, looks like you won the lottery then, Josh. I wish I had. I'd probably react the same way in comparison to the 9-darter. Chris, he put for me, we've seen more 9-darters without fans than we did with fans, which is very true. We've seen a lot of 9-darters recently, which is, I guess, is it surprising? Maybe players just under less pressure when it comes to the big moments. And then Chloe's in the building. How you doing, Chloe? Hope you're good. She's put hello again. Unless Durrant finds his confidence fast, he could be getting relegated and he needs a win. Well, actually, no, maybe not a win. He just needs a point on the board to give him some confidence ahead of this game tonight against Gary Anderson, which I think he could try and get some, but it's always going to be tough indeed. But looking at your predictions in the chat, Chris going 7-4 to Vandenberg. Osterman 7-5 to Dimitri Vandenberg as well. Dimitri 7-3, says Chloe. And then I thought for a second we weren't going to have anybody backing Peter Wright tonight, but we do, because Rees has gone 7-3 to Peter Wright, and then Zavax has gone 7-5 to Peter Wright. And if I wasn't getting drunk last night, which I didn't, I've got 4 cans of gin tonight, so I will probably get a little bit tipsy on stream. But we had a game of football earlier. I was quite tired before I started the stream, so the gin will give me loads of energy. But Peter Wright down to 180 here. Vandenberg at 201. We've only got 2 more nights left before we get a 10-day break. This week's gone quick, hasn't it? Very quick week. But I mean, overall so far we've had some very good games, and hopefully we can get a few tonight. There's Vandenberg down to 38 here. Peter Wright down to 80. Russ Bray is the referee for anybody wondering. And 2 darts in hand. a double 9 for Vandenberg, and 1 is all he needs. And I think one thing that Vandenberg's had an issue with in this tournament is usually in the first leg or two, he tends to be quite sloppy when it comes to his finishing. But that was a very good start there for the Belgian, who will be looking tonight to continue at the top of the table with a big victory over Peter Wright, who, you know, he said himself in his interview yesterday after his match that had he lost to Gary Anderson and sat 9th in the table, he would have been quite worried about how his season was going to pan out overall. And I'm really, really excited to see just how both of these players do, because there's going to be a lot of big players missing out on the playoffs. This is a real, real shame. But Reeze's part, I've got to go back to work. Enjoy the stream, people. Thank you very much, Reeze, again for the subscription with YouTube. Greatly, greatly appreciated. I will show that in a little bit. With the first 180 of the match going to Dimitri Vandenberg. So we're off the mark tonight with the 180s, which is always good to see. But thank you very much, Reeze. I will, of course, show the advert in a bit. We've basically launched Sports Corner Premium, which is the service that we've got where you can join and you get exclusive subscriber benefits. We wanted to try it out and maybe see if it's something that you guys would be interested in. And if it does go well, of course, the more people that subscribe to it, the more content will churn out for you guys on the members-only section of the channel. But for now, it's all about the darts tonight. There's Dimitri Vandenberg here. He's going to have to check out this 116 with Peter Wright at tops. A chance to maybe get the Belgian to a nice 2-0 lead early on in this game. And if you've got any bets tonight, do tell me. I know it's a very big week in sports. We've got, I think, is it Aintree going on over the weekend, which is massive with the Grand National. And no doubt there'll be a few of you putting bets on tonight with the action. I think I saw somebody yesterday put a bet on Johnny Clayton to hit a 9-darter and got it spot on as Peter Wright checks out on tops and makes it 1-all. Very good start on the checkouts here for both players. Tony Walker, how you doing? Good to see you again. He says, Dimitri will hit the most 180. Literally, as he's just said it. 180 on the board there. That's 2 now for Dimitri. He's put Dimitri will hit most 180s here, but Peter is the checkout king. And literally, as he said that, the 180 was smashed in, which is very good indeed. I'm going to turn the sounds up slightly because they are a little bit quiet. There we go, a little bit louder for you. Chris saying, outdated table due to price out of COVID. He thinks Van Gerwen's going to finish top. Peter Wright second, but actually win the competition. Vandenberg in third, and Johnny Clayton in fourth, which I'm not going to lie, if they were the 4 to finish, it would be great. But look at the averages, 107 and 105 to start off tonight's Premier League of Darts action. And I mean, if we get another 9-darter, I'll probably pass out on stream because I loved it last night. I'm a passionate person, as you'll know. Probably one of the most passionate people on this channel. And it took us 5 months to get a 9-darter on the Sports Corner. But we got it with the Ferret. And the way he's playing, I mean, it's going to be a tough game for Rob Cross, isn't it, tonight? But then again, every player left in this competition is going to be tough to play against. So Dimitri Vandenberg here, 240. Peter Wright, 301. He's a good pace to this game. Very good pace indeed. And what we will do is, when this game does finish, we'll talk through that table again. We'll talk through Clayton and Cross, of course, as there's another chance here for a 180 for Dimitri Vandenberg. Gets a 140, which he'll do. Might have maybe 3 or 6 starts here with Peter Wright back at 260. He's going to need to get at least 100 on the board here with 220s. And he doesn't, so advantage here to Dimitri Vandenberg, as he has a chance here to check out 100 with 6 darts in and not 2. And he's got 2 darts at double 20 now. Good marker with the first one. Could be a really good opportunity here. And does use it very well indeed, and that is 2-1 to Dimitri Vandenberg, and he uses that dart very, very well. Just above the double 20. And it was a brilliant angle to hit his second dart into the middle of the bed, and a really nice dart indeed. As Chloe's just put in the chat, in the early stages on the Premier League, I still think MVG, Clayton, Dimitri and Aspinall will be in the top 4, but that could change. And that's the special thing, isn't it, about this competition, as Vandenberg might be in here to smack in another 180. And does. And just as Tony Walker says, the Belgian king of the 180s smacks in his third, and Well, I mean, if we have another 9 dart tonight, I will definitely pass out. Although saying that, Peter Wright here, chance to get his own. And doesn't, but a 140 will do. And the chance here maybe for Dimitri Vandenberg to have the advantage if he can stick in a few more trebles. Which he's not going to have another 9 dart chance. But, hey, he's up to 110 average now. Another one of those players which, if you take his last 10 or 15 games, he probably averages 100 plus. About 10 to 12 times. It's not often he sits there and doesn't average around the 100 mark. Which is scary for a player that's so young. And he came out yesterday when he played Durrant after that 7-0 mauling and said, look, I do feel for Glen Durrant right now and I hope that he gets back to the way he was before. But at the end of the day, I have to go out there and get a result. And that's absolutely what he did. He smashed him up. And he won't be smashing up Peter Wright tonight with a whitewash, but he has got a good chance here to make it 3-1. And Peter Wright so far just going through a little bit of a phase here in this game. A little bit slobberish in the match. The average has just slowly begun to dwindle down as the game goes on. And he's got a chance here to check out the 160. 2 treble 20s and tops. Oh, it's lovely. It's a 160. And I think that's probably one of the highest finishes we'll get of the night. Really, really good finish there with 60-60 tops. Right into the middle of the tops bed. And I mean, Dimitri Vandenberg here, that's 2 ton plus finishes on the night. First one was 100. Second one was the 160. Peter Wright is hanging on, I think. Really, really struggling as Daz is in the building. How are you doing, Daz? He's put, evening, Josh. How are you doing today? I'm doing very well indeed. He's put same dance as last night. Also, how are you doing today? I'm very good overall, Daz. Thank you very much for asking, and I hope you're good as well. I know. I think Tiger Roll came 4th, didn't he, today in the race, which is a bit of a shame. But I think the bookies will have made a lot of cash from entry with Tiger Roll not winning. Chris saying, I hope Aspinall wins as he's my favourite player. I was watching an interview with Aspinall today. I think it was one he did, I think about a year or 2 ago, and he was just talking through his career. He's fantastic to watch. You know, he talks about the fact that he only had about 20 quid left to his name and he went to one of the Pro Tours and, of course, pretty much had to go and win it to put himself into a good position. And he did. And there's always stories when it comes to players and how their careers start. Of course, Glen Durrant being a big fan of Middlesbrough. And Peter Wright, just an absolute animal, isn't he, if we're being honest. But a little moment here where I think Vandenberg's just slipped up slightly, allowing Peter Wright a chance to make it 3-2. Gets a 140 there, Peter Wright, to take advantage of the mistake. And the one thing he doesn't want to let Peter Wright do is, you know, get back into this match. Because we know he can turn it on at the right time. As the Buchanan reports in the building. How are you doing, my friend? He's put good evening to the Duncard from the US. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're all good. As there's a chance here for Peter Wright to check out 1-2-1. And he does with the double 18. And there's another ton plus finish in this game. That's 3 on the board in this match. And a real big confidence booster for Peter Wright. Just as Dimitri Vandenberg has his first little blip in the game. Allowing Peter a really good chance to get on the board. And he might get a 180 now, Peter. But a 140 will do. Tony saying Dimitri will relax playing Peter. Good mates, which looks like it's paying off. And yeah, very true. Very, very true. I think maybe that's the worry. Is it going to be a case of, because he's a little bit too relaxed, that he allows Peter back into the match? As the Buchanan reports put no Pepsi this evening. No, we played football earlier, so I've got 4 cans of gin. I have got a Pepsi on the side, but that's probably for when the stream's done. But Brock has put liked and subbed. Thank you very much, Brock, my friend. He's put good evening. How are we doing? Once again, thank you for the sub, you absolute legend. Hope you enjoy your stay on the channel. And hopefully you've enjoyed the darts so far this week, because it has been a great week, hasn't it? A 9-darter already. A classy, classy performance from Clayton in that game. MVG looking back to his best, maybe. I think some people might be saying as Peter Wright only gets 60 here. And as Vandenberg made a mistake in the previous leg, Peter Wright makes a mistake here, which Vandenberg has to capitalise on. and only gets 96. So I don't think he really capitalised as much as he would have liked to, Dimitri Vandenberg. Both players averaging over 100. But Chloe's put her predictions in the chat. She thinks MVG is going to finish top, Clayton second, Dimitri third, Aspinall fourth, and then Wright fifth, Anderson sixth, Cross seventh, Wade eighth, Sousa ninth, Durrant 10th. This could easily change, and I will probably change my mind when the Premier League is halfway through, which is very true, as you have another 180 on the board for Dimmy Vandenberg. That's number 4 of the night, but Peter Wright here has got to check out the 126, and he doesn't, unless he gets the bullseye, and he hits the 20 instead. So no check out there for Peter Wright on the ton plus again, and it's advantage Dimmy Vandenberg here, who could go 4-2 up in this match and put himself into a very big position. I feel like he's very nervous. Took a long pause there, stepped back, took a breather. And he's got one dart left at 7-7. And he hits it. And I thought for a second there that the nerves and the pressure maybe just got the best of him. But big moment there for Dimitri Vandenberg. He goes 2 legs up on Peter Wright. And I think you can see the look on his face right now. I think Peter Wright is looking a little bit nervous right now. And he must be feeling in his head, I've got to get something back and quick, because Dimmy Vandenberg here, as much as he's made the odd mistake here and there, he's looking very, very good tonight. And has done, hasn't he, really, throughout the entirety of the tournament. But Brackle's put, he's been amazing so far. It has been, hasn't it? I think on first night, I was a little bit worried that because we'd not had a floor event or something for quite a while, I think it was like 2 weeks where we'd not really had anything going on in darts, that some of these players might be a little bit sloppy in the early stages. And I think the only bad night we had, and I'm saying a bad night, it wasn't really bad, it was the second night where it was a little bit of a sloppy night with low averages and such. But I think overall the last few nights have been brilliant. Really, really good to watch. And there's always been one game on the night where you look at it and you think, wow, that was a great match to watch. And no doubt I think we'll have another one of those tonight. And I've got a feeling it might be Wade v Van Gerwen. That's going to be the game that everybody gets excited for. But Daz has said he's not on the beer yet, Josh. Have you got beers tonight, Daz? You'll have to tell us. I would get onto can number 2 soon, and probably will. As Eric DeWolf's in the building. How are you doing, my friend? He's put, I hope MVG is going to win tonight. I think if Wade continues to play the way he has in the last few days, I think he's probably got a very good chance of winning MVG. And regardless of whether plays good or bad, it's MVG, isn't it? He's always going to be a favourite to win a match. Chris ain't sloppy. Nothing sloppy about the darts. Yeah, there is. You want to deny it, Chris, but there are sometimes games which are a little bit sloppy. I mean, you've only got to look at like the game between Vandenberg and Durrant. I think I could get you like a 1 or 2 minute clip last night of that moment where they just couldn't finish in the first few legs, and I think you'd agree with me on that one. It was a little bit rough. But apart from that, I don't think there's many matches which are always bad. I think there's the odd game here and there which you look at and you think, it was okay. Not a memorable game. But there's a chance here for a 1-2-1. So Peter Wright, check out. He's got one dart at the bull. And he's going to step back for the second here, Peter Wright. Obviously feeling the pressure. Does want to hit the 20 like he did last time. And in fact, this time I think he's hit 11. So Vandenberg with a chance to go 5-2 up in this game. Treble 20, double 8 needed. And you feel like that was a big moment in the match there for Peter Wright. We saw yesterday in the Jose de Sousa game, the miscount, which was the turning point in the game. Has the missed opportunity at the bull changed the complexion of this match? Although saying that, it's been quite one way, hasn't it, for the Belgium, as he doesn't hit the double 18. And a chance of redemption for Peter Wright. Chris is saying that's drama, though. This is what we're like. Is it? I mean, it is, but is it? You want to say deep down there is some sloppiness in darts sometimes. There's always sloppiness in every sport, isn't there? If we're being honest. As Peter Wright does take out the 39, he goes 4-3 up in this. Well, sorry, he goes 2-4-3 in this game. He's not up. but he is one leg behind the Belgian. And to me, it's very similar to that Gary Anderson-de Sousa match. Every time Gary Anderson must have thought he's got a little bit of an advantage in this game, Vandenberg just seems to slip up slightly and allow Peter Wright to come back in. And he's going to be worried now that maybe Peter Wright can get another leg back on the board. As Benbow Gaming's in the building, how are you doing, my friend? Have you found a week to do the tournament? Not yet, no. The only reason why is because it's a very busy period right now with the Premier League of Darts. I had a look at the calendar to see roughly when we could do it, as we've got a 180 on the board for Peter Wright, and I haven't found a week yet to do it. So it could be a little while until we see the next tournament, which I do apologise, but hopefully we'll have one soon, as there's another chance here for a 180, and there is. And this time, Vandenberg gets a 180 on the board. And that's 2 in a row now. As Brockles put, I was more excited last night for Clayton de Sousa, and was so happy when the 9-darter came out at the perfect time. I loved it. Obviously doing darts watch-alongs now for 5 months. It's been quite a while since I've seen a 9-darter. In fact, I've never seen a 9-darter on stream, so it was nice to have our first one last night. Hopefully we'll get a few more before this tournament finishes. Be very nice indeed. As Reese is in the building, how are we doing, my friend? Hope you're all good. So a chance here for Peter Wright to check out 116. Gonna have to go treble 19 and bull. And he's got to take this out. And, well, he's nowhere near. He hits the 7. Sloppy from Peter Wright. He's struggling tonight, isn't he, at points? I'd be interested to see what his checkout percentage is. I mean, currently, his checkout percentage is 42.86, which actually isn't as bad as I thought it would be. But even Vandenberg's had a mistake here. Another mistake, this time from the Belgian. And he might have just allowed Peter Wright an opportunity to make it 4-4 with tops. And you would expect Peter Wright, with his checkout success, to take this out. And he does. And it's 4-4 in this game now. And I think Vandenberg has given Peter Wright 2 very easy legs. And a big, big mistake from the Belgian there. He's got to sort himself out here and focus. Because Peter Wright was 3-1 down and he's brought it back. And fair play to him. And then Chris has put you in there slopping aside a minute. Get in. Got there in the end. I'm a stubborn man. I'm a stubborn guy. I will go and persist until someone agrees with me. Daz has asked what you're doing about the Euros, Josh. We are covering it. I can tell you that for sure. How? I don't know. But we're definitely covering it on the channel. I'm not going to lie, I don't know where I'm even going to be when it comes round to the Euros. So, once I know where I am, then I think I'm in a much more better position to know how I'm going to be streaming it. But yeah, we will be covering the Euros on the channel. I've got one watch along to do this week, which is El Clasico. That's going to be on Saturday. But apart from that, I don't think you'll be seeing me much for the next week, because I think the other guys will be doing the Champions League. I'm going to let them do the games that they covered, because I don't think it'd be fair for me to take one away from either of the boys. And then overall, gives me a chance to sit back and relax and play a bit of darts for the next week. But yeah, if you're Vandenberg here, I think you've got to be looking at those last 2 legs and thinking, I could have easily been, 6-2, 7-2 in this game now, and it been done and dusted, and he hasn't. He's allowed him back into the match. Real bit of sloppiness from him. And my 6-6 is still on. As Peter Wright just wanders down the walkway for a moment. I'd be interested to feel to know what both players are thinking here. I think Peter Wright must be feeling now he's got a big opportunity to get back into this game. But saying that, Peter Wright's having a stinker here. Vandenberg down at 66. Peter Wright all the way back at 258. And a big chance here for the Belgian to take back a lead in this game with double 16. And he does, right into the bottom right-hand corner of the double 16 bed. And the Belgian takes back a lead in this game. And it was a really nice start at the double 16. Just towards that bottom right-hand corner of the bed. And, well, Peter Wright here has got to improve on his scoring, because that last leg has become really staccato, I think is what Wayne Mardle's just said about that. And I think he's spot on. Very, very static from Peter Wright here. As Tony Walker's put, it's like Dimitri gets him on the straights, but Peter catches up on the corners, which he does. But saying that, I don't think either player's happy with either playing right now. I mean, I'm just looking at the leg averages overall from each leg. Dimitri Vandenberg, currently in this game, has only averaged one leg under 100 in this game so far. Peter Wright, in his last leg, averaged 60.8. 60. It's not good at all, is it? And I think here, Vandenberg will surely be thinking now, let me get that next leg on the board, guarantee myself a point, and I'm feeling much happier with myself. As Peter Wright just lets this game slowly creep away from him while they're saying that. Peter Wright is down at 260. With Dimitri Vandenberg at 304. Get a few trebles on the board. And you might put yourself in a good position to take the lead in this game, and he does. In fact, he gets 3 trebles on the board, Dimmy Vandenberg. And that's now 6 180s in the match. And he's down to 124. And even better news for him is he's going to have 6 starts to guarantee a point as Peter Wright's back at 200. So big opportunity in the game as Vandenberg just takes a real moment to step back. He calms himself down and composes himself. And he's not going to be able to check out the 104 here unless he gets the treble 18. 1 dart for the bull, which he won't go for. As he's, of course, going to have a chance to check out on double 16. But all Peter Wright can do here is put some pressure on Dimmy Vandenberg and try and make it 5-5. And he's done really well indeed. He gets a 140 to leave 60. So 3 darts at double 16 here for Dimmy Vandenberg for 6-4. Now 2 darts at double 8. Now 1 dart at double 8. Good marker with the first dart. And he doesn't take it. And now there's a chance for Peter Wright to get back into this game. He's going to have 2 darts at tops. And if he can make it 5-5, it's another mistake from Vandenberg. 2 darts at tops. 1 dart at double 10. Big moment. Oh, he clinches it. It's 5-all. And again, it's another chance in this game where Dimmy Vandenberg must be thinking, how have I not guaranteed myself a point here? And Peter Wright just keeps getting back into this game. But saying that, it's a 180. And that moment there where he just slipped up, Dimmy Vandenberg gets the 8th 180 of the match. And he's just got to compose himself here because time and time again, he's been allowing Peter Wright every opportunity to get back into the match. Although saying that, Peter Wright here might be on for a 180 of his own. And he does! 2 180s back to back. That's 9 on the board and that's now 100 180s in this competition. As we get 6 maximums back to back from both players, and there'll be no maximum this time for Vandenberg with his 6 darts as Tony thinks there's a 9 darter coming up. That'd be nice if we could have a 9 darter. And we won't do, unfortunately, because Peter Wright only gets 20 with his first dart. So no 9 darter chance, sadly. I think we're all getting a bit too geared up from yesterday's Johnny Clayton brilliant 9 darter, which I'll probably have that clip saved for quite some time. But this is a tight leg. And remember, if you are new, this guarantees this next leg either Peter Wright or Vandenberg a point in this game if they get the next leg on the board. So it's a really big moment in the match. So Vandenberg at 170 here. We haven't had a 170 checkout in the competition yet. Could be the first person maybe to do it. Peter Wright at 121. And we'll not be having a 170. But he's going to have to try and set himself up, which he does very well indeed. And he will leave himself with a finish at double 18. Peter Wright here going to have to take out the 121. He did it in leg 5, but he won't be doing it this time. Although saying that, he hits the treble 17. Chance for bull at the 121. No, doesn't get it. Hits the, I think it's the 6 he got there. So a chance for Vandenberg on double 18. Again, a bigger moment in the game. And well, I was about to say he's got to keep himself calm, and he does. He hits the double 18. And that's a very nice finish from Dimitri Vandenberg. And he's now one leg away from a guaranteed victory. And a guaranteed 2 points in the Premier League. Although saying that, Peter Wright here not giving up. And he doesn't give up because that's another 180 on the board. We're now to double figures for 180s in this game. And this match has provided 1/10 of the 180s in the match. But then again, chance here for Dimitri Vandenberg to get a 180 of his own. Surely. Oh, he does. It's another 180. And both players again, back to back, with 9 darters. Peter Wright gets his 4th, but doesn't get his 5th. Get so excited, don't you, when they hit a 180 to 60 to start with the 4th dart? You do get a little bit of excitement. Can Vandenberg do what Wright couldn't? No, he can't. He hits a 5, so no chance from either player there for a 9 darter, but they've certainly given us plenty of 180s to start off the night. And it's a very, very tight leg, with both players keeping really close to each other. But although saying that, Peter Wright on in for another maximum. And does. It's another one. It's raining maximums. We're out to 12 in this game. And surely, unless Vandenberg gets a 180 of his own here, Peter Wright is about to take a point from Dimitri Vandenberg. And he hasn't. So 41 now for Peter Wright to take a 6-all draw in what would be a very deserved point for either player. 1 dart at double 8. And he gets it. And it's a 6-all draw between Dimitri Vandenberg and Peter Wright. And it was a brilliant, brilliant game to watch overall. A really, really good match, you have to say, with a whole host of 180s on the board. But in the end, both players just couldn't eventually go on and get a win. And you have to say, Peter Wright, for large spells in that match, was really, really up against it. In fact, he was 3-1 down at one point. He clawed it back to 4-4. And in the end, Dancing Dimitri will only be coming out with a point tonight. And if you're the likes of Aspinall, and specifically more Van Gerwen, you might just be looking now and thinking, I've got a chance to take back a place at the top of the table, which we'll have to see, of course, a little bit later on in this evening's action. And we've got more games to come. Don't forget, we've got Johnny Clayton coming up against Rob Cross. That will be the next game of the night. Jose de Sousa, he'll be coming up against Nathan Aspinall a little bit later on in the evening. We've got James Wade the Machine up against mighty Michael van Gerwen. He'll be hoping to once again hit another 107 average later on. And then the last game of the night, Gary Anderson, he comes up against the struggling Glen Durrant, who still sits on 0 points. Don't forget tonight as well, we still have our multi-stream option available. The Europa League, if you're a big football fan, is on tonight. In fact, the boys will be live in about 5 to 10 minutes time, and they'll be covering all 4 games in the Europa League tonight. But for those of you that maybe haven't subscribed and you're wondering, well, what do you cover on this channel? Take a look at some of the content to come over the next week/weekend on the Sports Corner. It's a big week of action on the Sports Corner, with lots of content still to come through the midweek and into the weekend. Don't forget, our multi-stream option is still available on the channel for the final day as the Premier League of Darts Night 4 continues with the start of the Europa League quarter-finals beginning tonight. As we'll be live with the Premier League of Darts, you can join the rest of the Sports Corner team from 7:50 for all of the action in the Europa League quarter-final first leg goal show. And then on Friday morning from 10 AM you can join Rowan live for the A-League action, which includes MacArthur Bulls taking on Brisbane Roar. Then on Friday, the last night of Premier League Darts action, you can join me live from 7:05, who's going to get the final few points on the board before the break. And then on Saturday, it's El Clasico. You can join me from 5 to 8 on Saturday night for a whole host of action on the Sports Corner. So that's a quick look at some of the content we've got coming up on the channel. As I said, in about 5 to 10 minutes time, the rest of the Sports Corner team will be live with the Europa League games. Big matches tonight: Arsenal, Slavia Prague, Manchester United up against Granada, as well as 2 other big fixtures, including Ajax Roma, as well as Dinamo Zagreb Villarreal. So if you do want to check that out in the meantime, then do check that stream out a little bit later on. Say hi to the guys, because they're putting in a really hard shift tonight, and hopefully we'll have some more very good games in football. But you might have noticed on the stream, if you are one of the regulars on the channel, we do have a join button. We've got a very big announcement to make over to me for a press conference. I have announced this press conference at halftime of your stream. And first of all, I want to say, on the Sports Corner, for months now, we have been thinking of introducing a premium service for our loyal viewers, where you guys can pay a small fee to get involved with a whole host of exclusive bonus features and content that other viewers can't get. And I am today, as the manager of the Sports Corner, delighted to announce that the Sports Corner Premium is now available on our YouTube channel. Now, I've got people on this side of the room, some journalists asking me how much is it going to cost, and I can tell you it's only going to cost you £4.99 a month, and there'll only ever be one level so everybody can get involved for the right price. And there's a few journalists on this side of the room also asking me, well, what features do you get as part of your subscription? And I can tell you, my friend, that some of the features will involve exclusive badges, which are based on tiers, and you will get new badges based on your 1st, 3rd, 6th, 9th, 12th and 24th month as part of our Sports Corner Premium package. And that does involve, in your 24th month, getting a very exclusive Sports Corner Gold badge that only a few will get into that exclusive club. Could you be the first? And then also, we will be doing some exclusive streams on our channel. These will involve new podcasts available for our members, as well as darting streams, where I'll play some of you guys on our live streams. On top of gaming streams, these will involve sport-orientated games, including the likes of FIFA and Football Manager. But those streams will only be available to our members for £4.99. There'll be a range of other big features that we'll be announcing in the coming months that will be in our community section of the channel. And we'll also have, of course, other features. These will involve playing some of you guys in FIFA and darts when we're not live, as well as also giving you the option of having a few shouts outs on stream. So don't forget, £4.99 is all that you need to pay for exclusive Sports Corner Premium package. Why not be the first to join today? And who knows, you could be the first to get the Sports Corner crown. So thank you everybody for attending my press conference. I'm out. Think you might be sick of seeing that, guy. No, there you go. Advert there, as I said, YouTube Premium now available. We've got exclusive members only streams that we will be doing in the future. So if you do want to join the community, it's just £4.99. You'll get loads of exclusive content. You'll see in the chat, I know Reese isn't here right now, but you get exclusive member badges which you can use and emojis. So if you do want to join that community, then I really, really do recommend subscribing to us today. But otherwise for that, let's go on to the match that we just witnessed a few moments ago. Dimitri Vandenberg up against Peter Wright. A really, really good game tonight to start off. I predicted in my actual prediction before the tournament that this game would end 6-6, and that was before the tournament even started. But look, I think both players have played really well so far in this competition. Had a lot of really good results on the board. I think, of course, Vandenberg a little bit more than Peter Wright has. But you know, when you look at the stats of this game, Dimitri Vandenberg with 101.02 average, really good performance from him tonight, you have to admit. Although a little bit sloppy, I think, at certain points, allowed Peter Wright into the game. As for Peter Wright, 97.46 average. And I know this hasn't really, well, it has got something to do with the match, but really nice. Both players staying together to do the interview together, which is really awesome. And look, they know each other quite well. They're good friends. And I think overall, I think they'll be both quite happy with a point tonight. When you look at the stats, 160 checkout for Vandenberg. I think that's the highest we'll probably get of the night in game one. So if you've put maybe a bet on tonight for the highest checkout in this match, then you'll be quite happy if it stays that way. But checkouts wise, you actually look at the checkout success, it's not too bad. Vandenberg, 42.86 checkout percentage, which is really, really good. I think quite decent. I guess it's what you'd expect, around about the 40% mark for players. As for Peter Wright, 46.15%. So he didn't really do a bad job himself, did he? Getting a few of the decent checkouts on the board, including that brilliant 1-2-1. Of course, though, the 180s, a plethora of them. 8 180s for Dimitri Vandenberg, 4 for Peter Wright. It was 180 central in this game. And of course, as we said earlier in the stream, that does get us to over 100 180s in the Premier League already. And we've only just started night 4. So quite a good match overall, you have to admit. I think, as I said, both players will be happy with that. And when you look at the table, which isn't properly updated, of course, because it was a picture of how he started, then technically Dimitri Vandenberg will stay at the top of the league for now. He's got that extra point on the board, but that will most likely change unless Van Gerwen and Clayton lose. However, For Peter Wright, it puts him up to 4 points, so he does move into 5th place. Rob Cross drops down into 6th. Gary Anderson into 7th, but once again, we've only just started the night, so there's a long, long way to go before we see any of those players. Wade and Anderson, the 2 last games of the evening. So let's move on to the next game now of the night. What a game this could potentially be. Johnny Clayton, who from Carpenter to 9-darter hero, he's coming up next against a Rob Cross, who I don't think has played too bad so far in the competition. Had a really tough game yesterday against Michael van Gerwen, in which I think all he could do is put his hands up and say MVG had an absolute blinder of a game against me, and there wasn't really much I was going to be able to do in a match of that quality. But he had a pretty, I think he averaged around 97, I think, Rob Cross in that last game, so he's going to have to average something like that tonight, especially when coming up against Johnny Clayton, because he's the man in form right now, and there's a lot of people backing him to make the top 4, and I think I would be interested to know what Johnny Clayton would have wanted in this tournament. You know, in the back of his head, I think he would have probably been thinking, look, if I can finish mid-table, I think that's quite a respectable finish for someone who's debuting in the Premier League. But now he's got to start believing in himself, the fact that he might be able to go on and actually maybe even lift the Premier League title at the end of this competition. And he averaged 140 in his last 3 legs last night against Jose de Sousa, which was a complete turnaround from the first 4 or 5 legs, because I thought he was a little bit sloppy, especially when Jose de Sousa was averaging around about 105, 106, and I think Clayton was averaging around 95, 96, until we got to those last 3 legs, and then he went absolutely bonkers. So I will show you my prediction in a second for that game. But let's quickly go through the odds. As we are doing every single night, we're looking at the odds and seeing how they've differentiated from the beginning of the tournament to now. These are, of course, the odds to win the Premier League. So you can see why there's some certain players a little bit low down in the rankings. But in comparison to the previous day's action, Michael van Gerwen, after that big win against James Wade, his odds actually improved. And he went, I think, from 13 to 4 to 11 to 8. So, of course, the bookies expected him to be the most likely candidate to win the competition. As for Peter Wright, his odds improved as well. He went to 9 to 2 yesterday after a very, very good result. And talking about good results, Johnny Clayton, I think he started the day about 8 to 1. He then, once he hit the 9-darter and won the game, he went down to around about 7 to 6 to 1. And now he's 5 to 1. And I think those odds might shorten a little bit more if he gets at least a point on the board tonight. Dimitri Vandenberg, he's 7 to 1 to win the tournament. Much improved odds. He started the actual tournament at 12 to 1. And Gary Anderson is sticking around about 10 to 1. Which is whereabout he was at the beginning of the tournament anyway. As for James Wade, 12 to 1 to win the tournament. He started the week at 16 to 1. Same with Jose de Sousa as well. His odds have slightly improved. Nathan Aspinall, still 14 to 1 to win it. Which for me, I'm not going to advise much gambling, for being honest with you. But if you are somebody who likes to bet, I think 14 to 1 is a very good shout right now for Aspinall. Of course, it's a long way to go in this competition, but he's got the experience of making the semi-finals. Can he do it again? And then, of course, Rob Cross, he's at 25 to 1. And then Glen Durrant, he's now 200 to 1. He's not 50 to 1 to win it. He's 200 to 1. And those odds will keep shooting up and up and up if he keeps losing games, as it's more likely. It's less likely for him to win the competition. So, as I said before, I've been making my predictions throughout the entirety of the tournament before it started on who I think is going to win the games. The question is, who did I predict for this next match? Did I go for Clayton or did I go for Wade? Here's what I predicted. Game 2 of the night now. And look, I said for the first game, I was making a punt. Probably I was horribly wrong. I was nowhere near. This one's even more of a punt. Johnny Clayton coming up against Rob Cross in game number 2. The Welsh debutant up against the world number 4, who by this point might be under a lot of pressure or might have actually quite surprised a lot of people with how he's done. Maybe, probably the first one rather than the latter. But I've gone for a 7-5 win for Rob Cross. Why? You're probably wondering. He could be sat at this stage of the competition 3 nights now. Could maybe have 2, 3, 4 points, maybe even less than that. Could be sat here with 0 for all I know. But I think Rob Cross will pick up points along the way. You know, he's not going to go through this competition without picking up a point. He's in bad form. But I think this, for me, is the match where he does something. Which is quite strange, because I've said along the way, Johnny Clayton is one of the more informed players of 2021. Why would he pick up points now? he has to attack these games. We said it before with the likes of Peter Wright and Van Gerwen. They're going to attack the big matches because it's all about getting one over some of the very best in the world. They don't have to attack the smaller games because they're expected to win it. On the other hand, for Rob Cross, he might be world number 4. He has to look at it very differently. He's going to expect in some of these bigger games to not pick up points. These are the matches, especially against the debutants, where he's got to put out there a bit of authority and class. And that's what I think he might do tonight. 7-5 against Johnny Clayton. For once, I'm giving Clayton the L. Is that going to happen though? Put your prediction in the chat for this game as we go into night number 4, game 2. Should be a good one. So there is my prediction for the game between Johnny Clayton and Rob Cross. The question is, what are you guys predicting in the chat? I can't bloody speak. What are you guys predicting in the chat? Do tell me in the comments below what you're thinking for this game. It should be a corker of a match as both players are about to come out onto the oche. It's Fizzy, welcome to the stream, buddies. Asked you showing the match. Unfortunately, I can't because of copyright reasons. However, I would suggest checking out Twitch. That's a very good option. I think there's a few others on YouTube that might be showing it as well, but because of copyright, unfortunately, we're not able to show this match, or any match, sadly. As much as I'd love to, I definitely would if I could, but highly recommend checking out those spaces, as I said, to maybe see if you can go and access those streams. But what are you guys predicting? It's the best of 12 legs. It's a chance for the Ferret to continue an absolutely incredible run in the Premier League so far. He has had the debutant's dream, and he's going to continue it on, you'd expect, against Rob Cross today. Now, what did I say in my prediction? I can't remember. I think I backed Clayton to win. As I said, I don't really remember what I said. I should have probably wrote them down and that I could actually talk through my reasonings. But look, if I said Rob Cross on my prediction, ignore past me because it's go Johnny all the way. As Hanif's just said in the chat, he's going Johnny all the way, and I think he's the man to back, isn't he, right now? And I think if you looked at the odds before the tournament started of Johnny winning this, I think it was around 12 to 1. I'd go back on the previous stream and have a look to see what the odds are, but it's unbelievable. The way he's played is, as I said, for me, he's been the most informed player of 2021. And he's continued that in fine fashion here in the Premier League. Will he be in any 9 darters tonight? He's going to be George Noble, the referee. It seems like George Noble and Russ Bray are the only 2 referees in this competition right now. But I think George Noble might have just been having a joke there with Johnny Clayton, maybe saying to him, wonder if he can hit another 9 darter tonight. We'll have to find out though. Rob Cross, let's talk about him. Probably had a better start than maybe people expected in the tournament, although his 7-3 loss against Van Gerwen would have certainly been a disappointment to him. And when you look at the table, Johnny Clayton currently sat in 3rd place. He's on 5 points. And if he wins, he will go top of the table on 7. As for Rob Cross, he's just behind him on 3 points. A win today would put him onto 5 points and into 4th, but that would all depend on what happens in the game between Jose de Sousa and Nathan Aspinall a little bit later on. But Chris saying in the chat, is Clayton the Leicester of the darts? Who knows? Maybe we'll have to find out. And we'll see with this game whether he can continue on his form. But look, Rob Cross came out earlier this week in one of his press conferences and he said last year he just couldn't get any belief and confidence in himself in the Premier League, but this year he feels like a much different person, not just on the oche but with his life and his family life and things like that, and he feels like he can go out there and certainly put in a very good performance in the Premier League this year, which we'll have to see if he can do so. As we start off this game between Johnny Clayton and Rob Cross, and looking at your guys' predictions in the chat, Daz is going for 6-4 Clayton. Chris is going for a bold one. He's going for a punt, 6-6 between Clayton and Rob Cross, which I think is a really interesting shout, and that will no doubt be Chris's punt of the week when it comes to his guesses. And then, of course, Hanif, he said Johnny all the way, and then Zabax, he's going 7-5 Cross. As I just adjust my chair, I can't seem to get comfy right now. As we get underway with this game, and I think Johnny Clayton will win it 7-4. Rob Cross here, look, if he can get a win tonight, my word, what a win that would be. I think even a point for him, he'd probably say to himself, I'd take that, especially with how it's been a pretty tough Premier League, hasn't it, so far. But we've got a chance here for the first 180 of the night in this game, which Clayton doesn't get, but a 1-2-3 will do. And he's down to 87 here. with Rob Cross all the way back at 3-2, you would expect the Ferret to take a 1-0 lead and continue on his form from last night, in which he hit 140. Well, he was on a 140 average, sorry, for the last 3 legs of that match against Sousa. So goes for the 18 here. Not going to be able to check out, but he will come back. As Kean's in the building. How you doing, my friend? He's put 7-6. Go, Johnny, go. I mean, if we had another 9-darter from Johnny Clayton, I'd go mental. But all Rob Cross can do here is put a little bit of pressure on Johnny Clayton. And I don't think 100 will be enough. So, double 16 here for a 1-0 lead. Now double 8. Got 1 dart left in hand, and he doesn't get it. So, Rob Cross here. If he can take out the 145, that would certainly be a burden for Johnny Clayton early on in this game, and would be quite the surprise. As the Buchanan report, he's gone 7-2 Clayton in this match. So a lot of people, as you would expect, backing Johnny Clayton to win this. So Cross doesn't check out the 145. Double opportunity here for Clayton on the double 4, and he gets it in the end, and it is a 1-0 lead to the Ferret, and he was miles ahead of Rob Cross in that leg, and for a moment there, thinking maybe he had a little bit of nerves that Rob Cross was going to steal the first leg from him. But he does very well indeed there, and the Ferret is on the board in our second match of the night. In what for me is probably the most hardest night in terms of the fixtures. I don't think there's another night where you can pick out certain games and think, look, these are tough. I think Wade can beat MVG on his day. I think Sousa could surprise against Aspinall. I think the only game people are looking at right now and thinking that's a dead cert is the Anderson Durrant one. But maybe Durrant turns up tonight and wins 7-2. You never know. It's special, isn't it, darts? And Kean says, I'm sporting because he's Welsh. Doing Welsh darts, very proud, isn't he, Johnny Clayton? Especially with going Price out of the competition. He's flying the Welsh flag, isn't he, in the Premier League? Chris has asked, do you prefer darts to be on every night or once a week? Good question. In a real world, every night. Let's have it. But that's me being a darts addict. I think, look, the weekly format's nice because it gives you a little break in between. But and, of course, he pads it out throughout the entirety of the season. So, you know, we have a large, what is it, I think about 14 weeks, isn't it? Or 17 weeks where it's just non-stop. Every Thursday night, but look, at the end of the day, with how COVID is right now, I think the PDC have done a very good job to allow us to have this even set up, and fair play to them, because there could have been a lot of events this year that were just called off and cancelled, but I think for me the PDC are one of the hardest working organisations to get things going, and you have to give them credit at the end of the day because they've done a stellar job. As Rob Cross here has a chance to check out 155. He's going to have 1 dart here at double 19. It'd be a brilliant finish. Would have been the highest of the night. We've already had a 160 from Vandenberg. But he doesn't get it anyway. So a chance here for Clayton to take a 2-0 lead. Treble 20, double 10 needed. Hits 20. Has 1 dart at tops. And he's nowhere near. So a chance now for Rob Cross to make it 1 apiece in this game. On double 19. And this will be a big moment here for Cross. First dart is a bit awkward, I think. But he makes it easy with the second dart, doesn't he? Makes me eat my words. Good finish there from Rob Cross. Double 19. He makes it 1 apiece in this game between Clayton and Cross. But yeah, going back to your point, Chris, as a darts addict, I'd love it every night. But I like the weekly format. I think had it been a normal year, I was looking at going to Leeds. I was looking at going to Sheffield. I was looking at going to the Newcastle one as well. So there was a lot of nights I was looking at to go to for the Premier League of Darts. But at the end of the day, for me, it's one of those where they've done a great job to get this on. And, you know, let's hope next year that we can get back to a normal Premier League. I mean, they're talking about the match play, having crowds back. And I know with snooker, which is something Barry Hearn works on, they're doing test pilots there for the final, I think, the snooker. Is it the World Championships, the snooker or something like that? They've got full crowds for the final, which gives us some belief. I mean, the Euros are supposed to have I think it's about 25k fans they're looking at having at Wembley, which isn't full capacity. Wasn't ever expecting that to happen, but look, if that means they can have 25,000 people at the darts, you know, that's less than what some of the stadiums can hold anyway. So it'd be nice to have a full crowd back for the World Match Play and for things like that. Because as I said before, if the World Match Play can have a crowd, I probably won't be covering that event on the channel because I'll probably be there for it. That's the aim. But a chance here for 1-3-2 checkout for Rob Cross. Gets the treble 19, needs the bull here. It'd be quite a finish. And he just hits the outer bull. So Clayton now maybe can check out the 1-2-2. Keane says, I bet Price is happy with Clayton because the 9 darter and all that stuff. And look, he's flying the flag, isn't he, for Welsh darts right now? I mean, Gerwyn Price has got, I think, is it 2 months? He's not going to be playing darts for now, according to somebody put up on Instagram. Because he's not going to be going to Germany for the Super Series. So his next event will be the World Match Play, I think. As Cross checks out 25, and it's 2-1 to Cross on the night. Good start for Rob, who, as I said, for me, hasn't played bad in the tournament so far. He was demolished by MVG last night, but when MVG is averaging 107, there's not really much you can do against him. But a chance here for a 180, and look at him go! It's not go Johnny go, it's go Rob go, because that's the first 180 on the board. And he's in the groove tonight, isn't he, Rob Cross? And for Johnny Clayton, are we just going through that spell that he had against De Sousa in the early stages where he just couldn't really get anything going? We'll have no 9 darter chance, unfortunately. But after hitting the 180, he only hits 38. That's Rob Cross for you, isn't it? Chris has put, in terms of my channel, I prefer it weekly because sometimes I can't do darts predictions if on every night. As Johnny Clayton whacks in a 180 now. Buchanan reports that's what Cross average is. It's currently 96.27. Johnny Clayton's averaging 94.56. So he's not far behind Johnny. But he's doing very, very well indeed to just match him pace for pace. Which is what you've got to do right now with Johnny Clayton. Although saying that, another 180 chance here for Clayton, and he gets 140 this time. But yeah, I would have to say, look, when he goes back to normal again, I want to go to the World Match Play. That's the plan for me, to go to Blackpool, spend a week there, go to the to the events, and hopefully get to watch darts in person, because I've never been to the darts in person. I haven't had a chance to, because I was going to go before COVID happened, and then, you know, we're still sat here now, a year of pretty much being stuck indoors, and I haven't had a chance to go. So I'm looking at the World Match Play for the first event to go and watch some darts, and then no doubt next year I'm going to try and get to the World Championship as well. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm going to stop for a second though. Chance here to make it 3-1. Checkout on double 18 would be a 93 checkout for Rob Cross. Now got 1 dart at double 9 for a 3-1 lead. Keane saying I'm watching it in real life, it's really sad. As Cross doesn't hit it. And you feel like that's a chance that's wasted for Rob Cross. Because Johnny Clayton here, with 3 darts at double 12. Now 1 dart at double 6. It doesn't get it. It's just not happening, is it, Johnny Clayton tonight? And Rob Cross here should surely make it 3-1 now with double 9. Hits the 9. Now he's going to have 1 dart at the double 4, which he's going to have to take this out. Big moment here for Rob Cross in the game. And a big moment it is indeed, because it's 3-1 now to Rob Cross. And the Ferret finds himself in a pretty tricky situation, because right now he's 3-1 down, and you just feel like here maybe that there's a chance for Rob Cross. Although saying that, it's another 180. That's the second one for Rob Cross. Sorry, for Clayton in this game. Maybe he can just smack in another 9 darter like he did yesterday. Would be nice, wouldn't it? So 180 here for Johnny Clayton. Gets 4 6 treble 20s. Doesn't get a 5th one. And for a second, there was a little bit of excitement that Johnny Clayton might about to do it again, but unfortunately not there. But he is down to 181. With Rob Cross all the way back at, I think he's at 281, isn't he here? So 301 for Rob Cross. So Clayton, you would expect, should make it 3-2. and just get himself back into the match. And he's going to have to do what Peter Wright did earlier, and that's go from 3-1 to get back into this game and maybe even make it 4-4 like Peter Wright did. So Clayton here, 81 checkout, treble 19, double 12, gets the 19, gets 12, so he's got one dart at the bull and he hits the outer bull in the end. As Kian says he thinks I'm a bit ahead of you. Yeah, you probably will be. I think I'm watching it on Now TV, so mine will be about, I think, like 15, 20 seconds behind maybe. Especially when I'm watching it on console as well. Daz has put there on about the predictions I told them. In the Europa League. In the Europa League one. How's the games going on in there? We'll have to have a check. And see what the scores are in there. But Johnny Clayton checks out the 25. And he's now 3-2 in this game. And just looking at the scores in the Europa League, for anybody that's wondering maybe what's going on there, Ajax are currently 0-0 against Roma. Arsenal 0-0 against Slavia Prague. Dinamo Zagreb are 0-0 against Villarreal. And then Granada 0-0 against Man United. So no goals in the first 15 minutes of action. As Johnny Clayton smacks in another 180. And that's 4 180s in the match. As Clayton now averages 99 in this game. And he's starting to really get himself going in this match. As Keane says, I'm watching it on Sky Sports Action. Yeah, I've got Sky Sports Action on as well. I'm watching it on Now TV on the app. So it probably will be a little bit behind. As Chris has put, I'm watching it on Sky Go. I'm always in sync with yours. It's great, isn't it, when we're in sync? It's very nice indeed. Oh, Keane's watching it on Now TV as well. Mine's just really slow then. Mine's just really, really slow. I don't know what it is. I always feel like I'm behind. Whenever I do, like, when we're not streaming and we're just watching a game, I'm always behind the rest of the lads. I think it's just my PlayStation, it's rubbish, but... Roll cross here at 164. Clayton gets 100 to leave 1-2-1. Roll cross checks this out and makes it 4-2. Clayton's back to square one. He gets treble 19. Needs another one for the bull, which he doesn't get. He hits the 7 instead, which was pretty poor from him. So Johnny Clayton with a chance to maybe check out a tumpless finish of his own, while Rob Cross will leave tops. Really good scoring there from Rob Cross, just put himself in a very good position to check out. So treble 17, bull here for Clayton. Oh, it's just wide. Just wide of the mark there. Big opportunity for Johnny Clayton. Had a chance on the bull and it hits the outer bull, and now Rob Cross with a chance on tops to make it 4-2. Now 2 darts at double 10. Now 1 dart at double 5. Really needs to take this, or else Johnny Clayton's going to get back into it, and he doesn't. And that's a big opportunity that Rob Cross hasn't taken. And now Johnny Clayton here, he's going to have 2 darts at double 8 to make it 3-all, and 1 dart is all he needs, and Johnny Clayton is back in it. And now he's just starting to play. He had a little bit of a slow start against Jose de Sousa yesterday, and then he started to really kick-start in the game, and he's certainly improved in this match with his average, although looking at the checkouts, both players with a 25% success rate, which is 3 out of 12. Not the greatest, isn't it, on checkouts overall, but Rob Cross is in it. He's giving Clayton a pretty decent game. He just needs to make sure that Clayton doesn't do what he did yesterday and get a foothold in this match. Because we saw those last 3 legs, he averaged 140. And while I don't think he's going to do that again tonight, Rob Cross is going to have to keep up the consistency levels here as he looks for another 180 in the game, and does! And it's another one. And that is now the 5th 180 in the match. Get your George Nobles out. I always like putting the sounds on. Bit of fun in it. Makes it different from some of the other watch-along streams. Although saying that, I looked yesterday. There's only 2 of us doing it. I think there's me, and then there's the Clash of the Tungsten, which is... I popped in his streams a few times. Very, very good. But I thought more people would cover the darts, and it's just not as well covered as I thought it would be. But hopefully you guys are enjoying the tournament so far, because we've got one more night of action. And then we've got a 10-day break, which we'll talk about how the Premier League of Darts is panning out this season when we get a break. But chance here for a 167 checkout for Rob Cross here. And Keane, you might want to look away because he's on here for the bull for a 167. We had a 160 from Vandenberg earlier this afternoon. And we don't get the 167. He hits the outer bull. And that was a really good effort there from Rob Cross. For what I think would have been the highest checkout of the tournament. And Rob Cross is going to return here. Clayton not checking out the 125. So Rob Cross is going to have 2 darts at 888. As Johnny Clayton just tries to sort himself out here. Takes a step back. I think he's just trying to remember what score he's on. So Rob Cross here now. 2 darts at 888. Clayton is at tops. And yeah, I think it was his counting there. Just nearly miscounted. So can you do it here, Rob Cross? First dart misses. Got one more dart at the 888. Can he get it? No, he can't. So another chance. And this time it's a chance for Johnny Clayton to take the lead in this match. And the checkouts have really been a problem for both players. As there's 2 darts left at 10 for Johnny Clayton. And he doesn't get it either. And when Cross gave a chance to Clayton, Clayton gave it back to Cross. He's got 3 darts here at 888. And surely now you'd expect Rob Cross to take the lead again in this match. And he does. Well, this is a different game from what we saw yesterday. For the first time, Johnny Clayton is finding himself in a real battle. And although I'm saying that, he actually had a battle against Peter Wright, didn't he, a few days ago. But this is probably the toughest match he's played in so far. Because he's just not getting into form here. I mean, when you actually look at the checkout success, Johnny Clayton's now at 20%, so he's not having a great night on the checkouts. But he might be on for a 180 here. And gets it. Another one. 6 180s now in the match. And that is, I believe, the 4th maximum of the night for Johnny Clayton. There might be another one here for Rob Cross, which he doesn't get. But a 140 will do. So, Johnny Clayton here. Going to get himself down to 224 after 6 starts. Rob Cross here, you're going to have to try and probably get at least 100 plus to keep up. As both players' averages have just dropped on the night now. Cross averaging 95. Johnny Clayton averaging 97. So you can see how this game is very, very close. You have to say. As Cross gets 140 to leave 84. Sorry, Clayton gets 140. Cross at 161 here. Might have a chance to check it out again. Gets treble 18. Doesn't get the treble 19, so there'll be no chance for Rob Cross. And Johnny Clayton now with an opportunity to make it 4-4 in this game. Gets the 20. Gets 14, so he's got 1 dart at the ball. And he hits the outer ball. And now Rob Cross has a chance to take that 2-leg lead back. Double 14 for Rob Cross to get himself 1 leg away from a point. And he is 1 leg away from a point because the double 14 is in. And in the most decisive of moments, Rob Cross gets himself that 2-leg lead. And he is now 1 more leg away from a guaranteed point on the board. Which I think if you'd have said that to Rob Cross at the beginning of the night that you would get a point against Clayton, I think he'd be very, very happy with that. But there's still a long way to go here. He's going to have to get that next leg on the board. If you make it 5-4, it's going to be quite an interesting final few legs. Because this is the point where Johnny Clayton really got himself going last night. But I don't think that's going to happen, if I'm being honest with you, with the way that he's been playing so far. It's a really, really tough match between these two players. A very gritty one is probably the best way to put it, if I say so myself. So Clayton overall, he's averaging 101 in this tournament. Rob Cross averaging, I think, 96, which is around about what I'd expect for a player of Rob Cross's standard to average at that amount overall. Johnny Clayton been very, very good, hasn't he? But I think the average might go under 100 here. Luke Boyer saying, come on, Crossy boy. Can he get that last leg on the board here? He's down at 189. Johnny Clayton, though, might be on course for another 180 here. Doesn't get it. But a 140 will do. And he will be down to 108. And he's going to have a chance before Cross does to check out. So if he can check the 108 out here and make it 5-4, this becomes a much more interesting game. Goes for the 18s route. Needs treble 18. Doesn't get it in the end. He's hit the 1, I think. So he's not going to be able to check out here either. And Rob Cross, with a chance to guarantee a point in this game, needs to check out the 89. Big moment in the game. Treble 19, double 16. Gets the 19. Gets the treble 20. 1 dart at double 5 for a guaranteed point in the game. And he gets it. And that's a point on the board for Rob Cross. And for the first time in what feels like quite a while, Johnny Clayton, he's up against it. The ferret is quiet. And Rob Cross here, he's feeling hot, hot, hot. Just like his walkout song. He's looking really, really good tonight. And 7-3 could be on the cards here. Don't think many people would have expected that if they were, gambling tonight. I think there'll be a lot of ACCAs which will be broken from Clayton losing. I mean, when you actually look at his double success, 19% for Johnny Clayton, it's really, really not good at all. As for Rob Cross, only 33% himself, which has been good enough tonight. Wouldn't usually be. But Johnny Clayton's just not been at it. And his average is just actually slowly starting to dwindle lower than Rob Cross. He's only 0.5 ahead on the average. And saying that, Rob Cross now takes the lead in the averages. And fair play to Cross, he's going about his business very quietly. There's not much pressure on him this year, Rob Cross, especially with the fact that, at the end of the day, he was a relegation person last year. He was in the bottom 2, got relegated. I think a lot of people, as we predicted, were expecting Rob Cross to finish in the bottom 2, probably with Durrant. But he's gone about his business in really good fashion so far. And I tell you something, look, I don't think Rob Cross has put in an amazing performance yet. But I think Rob Cross has played very well. And if he can continue on in this vein, he's going to pick up plenty of points here and there. As Ostervan says, Luke will be happy if Rob wins. He will be. He's buzzing in the chat. He said he predicted 7-3 Crossy Boy. And he's got a chance here to check out the 158 on a double 19 for the win. And he doesn't get it. And I mean, that would have been a great way to end the match, wouldn't it? Had he have taken it out. And he might be coming back here at 38. Unless Clayton checks out the 156, which he's not going to be able to. So a chance here for Rob Cross to win 7-3 for 2 Premier League points. Double 19 needed. He's going to go for the 6 route, which will leave him with 2 darts, a double 16, and 1 dart is all he needs. And Rob Cross, who shakes his head, and I think he knows tonight he didn't put in the greatest of performances in the world, but my friend, go Rob, go, because that is a brilliant win on the board against the ferret, Johnny Clayton. And maybe life isn't as simple as it seems in the Premier League, because Johnny Clayton takes his first defeat in the tournament. And look, as I said before, Rob Cross, he's going about his business in quite quiet fashion. And 2 points on the board. It's really, really good. And I mean, Luke, he's buzzing in the chat. He's put, come on, Crossy boy. That's my lad. What a performance. And it was a very, very decent performance in terms of the fact that Johnny Clayton never turned up. And this man, Rob Cross, what's he going to do this season? He's right up there with the rest of the pack. And Luke Boy's prediction was spot on with 7-3. And I think he'll be very, very happy tonight that Mr. Rob Cross comes out with a victory. And look, he's got some very good games coming up soon. I think maybe he might be finding himself with the top end of the pack for some time if he can keep that form going for now. But don't forget, if you are new to the stream, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated if you haven't done so and you are new to the stream. Of course, we are up to 2k subscribers.
Don't forget, we have got more streams to come over the next week. As I always do at halftime. I like to... Well, halftime, I'm saying halftime, it's just the game's finished. I always like to show you some of the stuff that's going on the channel over the next few days. We have got Breaking Play, which does mean we've got another stream available now on our channel. The rest of the Sports Corner boys are streaming the Europa League games tonight. They're looking at the big games. That includes Arsenal, Slavia Prague, as well as Granada, Manchester United. So if you want to keep up to date with all the latest in the Europa League, then that stream is available. But here's a look at some of the content to come on the channel over the weekend and the rest of the week. It's a big week of action on the Sports Corner with lots of content still to come through the midweek and into the weekend. Don't forget, our multi-stream option is still available on the channel for the final day as the Premier League of Darts Night 4 continues with the start of the Europa League quarter-finals beginning tonight. As we'll be live with the Premier League of Darts, you can join the rest of the Sports Corner team from 7:50 for all of the action in the Europa League quarter-final first leg goal show. And then on Friday morning from 10 AM you can join Rowan live for the A-League action, which includes MacArthur Bulls taking on Brisbane Roar. Then on Friday, the last night of Premier League darts action, you can join me live from 7:05, who's going to get the final few points on the board before the break. And then on Saturday, it's El Clasico. You can join me from 5 to 8 on Saturday night for a whole host of action on the Sports Corner. So there's a look at some of the content to come up on the channel over the next few days. Lots of big matches across the board. In world football, we've got that big El Clasico, which I'll be covering on Saturday night. For those of you that may be just wondering what's going on in the Europa League, quick update for you. All 4 games as it stands are still 0-0, so there's not much going on across the board for the 4 boys covering those games tonight. But let's talk about that game, what we just witnessed between Johnny Clayton and Rob Cross, because, I mean, my lord, he's going about his business in quiet fashion, and I like it. I don't think Rob Cross is a bad player, and I think his problem has been similar to Durrant's. He's been on a bit of sloppy form. We know he's a good player on his day. He's not ranked the world number 5 for no reason. And look, what a performance it was tonight. In a game where I think Johnny Clayton just wasn't good enough on his checkouts, Cross did what he had to do. And the thing is, we've had some games in this competition, especially when Durrant's played, where it's quite easy when a player is playing bad for another player to get themselves into a position where they feel like they can sit back a little bit and relax. And I don't feel like Rob Cross did that tonight. I feel like pretty much for the majority of the game, I didn't really feel like Clayton was ever going to get back into it, especially when you look at the fact that there's 18.75 checkout success from Johnny Clayton. It just wasn't a good night overall, you have to admit, for him. But when you look at the stats of the game, which we'll talk about now, 97.01 average for Rob Cross, with a 95.98 average for Johnny Clayton. So both players average quite respectable. I think Rob Cross has been averaging throughout the tournament around about the 97 mark, which is really, really good. And he's just starting to get back to what you'd expect from Rob Cross. Checkouts-wise, I said Clayton's a moment ago, not good enough tonight. Really, really poor from him. As for Rob Cross, 36.84% on his checkouts. That's 7 out of 19 on his doubles. Pretty all right, isn't it? I think that's a very respectable checkout success overall. We had 6 180s in the match, 4 for Johnny Clayton and 2 for Rob Cross. And look, 5 points on the board now for Rob Cross. He must be delighted with how he started in this competition. And you feel like there's a sense of belief back in Rob Cross. A sense of he knows he can do quite well in this competition. And the fact that people aren't predicting him to be in the top 4. People have said that he's probably going to be finishing the bottom 2 and relegated. He's just got to keep going along in his business as he has done so far. And the more wins that he gets on the board, the more points he gets. Rob Cross could be sat here in a few nights' time, maybe within a shout of getting into that top 4. And look, it's night 4. There's a long way to go. Rob Cross could lose his next 4 now, and I'd be sat here saying he's getting relegated and he's out of the competition. But right now, you've got to live in the moment. And that's exactly what Rob Cross is doing. And fair play to him. As for Johnny Clayton, he was living the moment. He's now going to get himself back on track tomorrow night in that last game, which is, of course, I think it is against, if I am correct, Johnny Clayton comes up against Gary Anderson. So not the easiest of games in the world to end your first week of action in the Premier League. But when we look at the table, Johnny Clayton stays in 3rd place. Rob Cross jumps up to 4th. Both have got +4 legs difference, but Clayton stays in 3rd. I mean, if Rob Cross can be in the top 4 by the end of the night, I think he'd be absolutely buzzing with that. And fair play too. A brilliant performance overall. And a really, really good night indeed. As Luke Boy says, I shall be off now. Catch you all later. Thank you very much, Luke. You're absolute legend. We'll hope to see you again soon, and hopefully Rob Cross can keep performing well for you. But we've got 3 more games coming tonight. As you can see on your screen, I will update for you the score of that Clayton Cross match, because I think Cross has killed off a lot of backers tonight. There'll be a few people very disappointed at the fact that Rob Cross has won that. But we've got 3 other games coming up. Jose de Sousa, who has struggled so far in the Premier League. Yesterday he miscounted, and it really cost him in a game where he played his best and probably played one of the better performances apart from his checkouts. Gin's kicking in now. He comes up against Nathan Aspinall. Aspinall playing brilliant so far. But the question is, are we about to see another shock on the cards? We'll have to find out. James Wade, he's going up against Michael van Gerwen a little bit later on. The Machine, he's not played too good in the competition, I have to admit. I think he has been really patchy at times, and his checkouts have been poor, especially in the last 2 games. Can Michael van Gerwen come out with 107 average like he did yesterday against Cross? We'll have to find out. That's the penultimate game of the night before. Gary Anderson comes up against Glen Durrant, and Glen Durrant has to come out firing on all cylinders, because as it stands, it's not a great campaign for him at all, is it? So do put your score predictions in the chat for that next game between de Sousa and Aspinall. But for those of you that are wondering, you might have noticed, if you're a regular on the channel, there is now a join button, which wasn't there before. And you're probably wondering, well, what does that mean? Basically, we are joining the members only category. So basically what you can do is, if you pay a small fee, you can join a members only part of the streams, where you get exclusive streams and a whole range of other content. And basically the easiest thing to do is to get Josh to do a press conference to announce it. Look at this. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me for this press conference today. Now, you're probably wondering why I have announced this press conference at half-time of your stream. And first of all, I want to say, on the Sports Corner, for months now, we have been thinking of introducing a premium service for our loyal viewers, where you guys can pay a small fee to get involved with a whole host of exclusive bonus features and content that other viewers can't get. And I am today, as the manager of the Sports Corner, delighted to announce that the Sports Corner Premium is now available on our YouTube channel. Now, I've got people on this side of the room, some journalists, asking me how much is it going to cost, and I can tell you it's only going to cost you £4.99 a month, and there'll only ever be one level, so everybody can get involved for the right price. And there's a few journalists on this side of the room also asking me, well, what features do you get as part of your subscription? And I can tell you, my friend, that some of the features will involve exclusive badges, which are based on tiers, and you will get new badges based on your 1st, 3rd, 6th, 9th, 12th and 24th month as part of our Sports Corner Premium package. And that does involve, in your 24th month, getting a very exclusive Sports Corner Gold badge that only a few will get into that exclusive club. Could you be the first? And then also, we will be doing some exclusive streams on our channel. These will involve new podcasts available for our members, as well as darting streams, where I'll play some of you guys on our live streams. On top of gaming streams, these will involve sport-orientated games, including the likes of FIFA and Football Manager. But those streams will only be available to our members for £4.99. There'll be a range of other big features that we'll be announcing in the coming months. That will be in our community section of the channel. And we'll also have, of course, other features. These will involve playing some of you guys in FIFA and darts when we're not live, as well as also giving you the option of having a few shouts outs on stream. So don't forget, £4.99 is all that you need to pay for exclusive Sports Corner Premium package. Why not be the first to join today? And who knows, you could be the first to get the Sports Corner crown. So thank you, everybody, for attending my press conference. I'm out. So there you go. There's an advertisement for the Sports Corner Premium. Better for me to just do a video and record it rather than me talk about it now, because I have had a few cans, so probably not worth me trying to advertise it.
But that's all the advertising done for now. Don't need to do any more for the moment. Let's talk about the next game coming up, which is Jose de Sousa against Nathan Aspinall. I mean, this game is going to be quite an interesting one. Jose de Sousa last night played out of his skin. 108 average, let's not forget. It wasn't a bad performance from de Sousa. And I said last night, I said in the show, when he came up against Johnny Clayton, I said, I don't think Jose de Sousa will win this competition because he makes mistakes. And funnily enough, it was quite funny, wasn't it? The fact that he made the mistake yesterday with the miscan. But I think this is going to be a very interesting game, whether de Sousa could continue on in the same form. And apparently, it was something to do with he was having a few back issues yesterday, de Sousa, which is why he was going for the treble 19 so often. Which I didn't know that. I didn't hear anything about it, but it was said today he had a few back issues, hence why he was going for the 19s. But I think tonight, if I'm a punting man and I'm advising somebody to bet, then I would recommend maybe if you're going to bet on a game like this, go for Aspinall to maybe get more 180s in the match, because you would expect, well, Aspinall to come out with more 180s in comparison to Jose de Sousa, especially if he keeps going for the treble 19s overall throughout the rest of the night. But looking at what you guys have said in the chat, Keane's going 7-5 Aspinall, Chris is going 7-4 Aspinall, and then I saw Bergh's comment earlier. I know he's joking. 7-5 Ted Hankey. I mean, that would be like wrestling shit, wouldn't it? If Ted Hankey was to come out on out of nowhere, Ted Hankey appears. He says to Aspinall, "Get out! You're not playing. I'm coming up against de Sousa," and it's Ted Hankey v de Sousa. I mean, that was some like wrestling shit, wouldn't it? But apparently, it's 1-0 United as well. So if you're a Man United fan, good result over there in terms of how that game's panned out so far, and at least there's a goal before half-time in those fixtures. But, as I said, I have done throughout the entirety of the tournament. Do also keep your eyes out on our predictions that we made, because I made my predictions before the tournament started for these games. I have no idea what I predicted for this one, and I feel like I gave a win to Jose de Sousa. Take a look at what I predicted. This was a prediction I made last week. It's probably quite bad. Now move on to game number 3 of the night. Another one of the really tough games to predict. It is Jose de Sousa against Nathan Aspinall. And I'm going to go... I had to sit there and deliberate, I'm not going to lie, before I made my prediction for this one. I think Jose de Sousa, I don't actually think I've actually predicted many good results for him so far. He'd be probably down to the lower echelons of the table. But tonight is the night where Jose de Sousa gets a 7-4 win over Nathan Aspinall. Nathan Aspinall, I've given him a few decent results here and there. I think he'd be lingering around the mid-table spots, which is quite respectable for a player of his standards. But Jose de Sousa tonight is going to get a big win against him, 7-4. I think Jose de Sousa will have had some tough games along the way. He could be maybe like Rob Cross, as I said earlier, lingering towards the bottom end of the table. But look, he's not here to make the numbers. He's not here to sit at the bottom of the table and instantly get relegated. I think he will get a few wins on the board. And I think for me, Nathan Aspinall is going to be one of those players that he coops some points up against. And that's why I'm going to go 7-4. Why not? Who knows? Put your predictions in the chat as always. But for me, Josh is predicting 7-4 to Jose de Sousa, the special one. I'm not going to lie. I'm listening right now. And I don't know what I went for in the end. But I said even in my predictions last week, it could be like Rob Cross lingering around the bottom of the table. What was I thinking? Rob Cross sat towards the bottom end of the top end of the table now, isn't he? On 5 points overall. But I'll talk about my prediction in a second. Hanif says, Sports Corner, great show. Thank you very much, Hanif. Greetings all the way from Mauritius. Wow. Do tell me where you are from in the chat. It'd be nice to know where all of you guys have come from, where you're joining the stream today. And then Bergh says, we could do with a bit of Hankey's antics to get us through these tough times with a grin. You're absolutely spot on, and I know we talked about it a few days ago, but I'm really excited for the whole concept that they've got for the World Senior Championship. I know it's something they're looking to maybe do on TV, I think, and have it as a televised event, which would be great if they were to do that. I mean, of course, Phil Taylor is the one player that everybody is expecting to come back to that tournament, and he's been invited to it. So I'm looking forward to seeing how and when that happens. I think they planned it for next year, so could be another big event that maybe finds its way onto television with the darts as it continues to grow in popularity. But both players out onto the stage here. I'm not going to lie, don't know what my prediction was for that. As I said, I'm thinking Aspinall. When I sit here today,
and I make a prediction now, Aspinall to win 7-3. I think De Sousa is a very good player on his day, but the miscount yesterday was the critical moment for me in that match where everything just went to shit. It was really, really bad from him. He struggled to really get back into the match because when you've got a player averaging 140 in his last 3 legs, there's not really much you can do about it. But we're getting away here with the game, and we're going to start off, of course, with a 180 from Jose De Sousa. And I mean, he, remember, averaged 108 yesterday, which was certainly a good start. But Nathan Aspinall will nearly match up with a 180 of his own, and he'll get a 140. But Daz thinks he might be on ITV or BBC, which is interesting. But there's 4 darts. There's 5 darts. There's 6 darts. Go on, Jose. We're off for a 9-darter again. We've never had a 9-darter, I believe, in the first leg of a match. But we're on for one. We're feeling one. Come on, Jose. Let's have it. This would be brilliant. But I've got a feeling he's going to hit the 5 with his first dart. And he hits the 20. Bummer. I mean, if there was a crowd there tonight, they would be booing for about 2 seconds. But that would have been really nice to have had another 9-darter after yesterday's from Johnny Clayton. But look, either way, Jose De Sousa down to 82 here. Aspinall to 339. You would expect Jose to get that first leg on the board. Bull double 16, which he'll go for. I think he's hit the 7. No, he hasn't, so he's hit the 3 in the end. So he's going to have to go treble 13, double 20. He's miscounted again. He's miscounted again. I mean, he's lucky, right, that he's done it at this stage of the match. I mean, Chris is just as surprised he didn't miscount that 9-dart. Miscounts, doesn't he, of course. But he's lucky that he's miscounted with Aspinall at 279, because had Aspinall been any closer, then that would have certainly backfired on De Sousa, and still might. Let's not forget, still could backfire here, but double 20 needed for De Sousa to make up for that miscount. And as I said, for me, that's why he's just not going to win this or get anywhere close to it, as he only gets 30. So Aspinall at 183, maybe could put a little bit of pressure on. As Mikos asks your prediction, who will win it? It's a tough one. I think Van Gerwen's got to be up there to win it this time. I think he's got to have the drive to win it. I think a lot of people will be saying Clayton to win it as well, but I'm going to go MVG. I think he'll win it this year. As De Sousa's bust. So Aspinall now at 44 has a chance to nick the first leg. He was about 300 points away from De Sousa, and he's nicked the first leg. It's 1-0 Aspinall. And the special one can't count. If he could count, he wouldn't be in this situation. And all Aspinall could do is have a little grin on his face after he miscounted, and he's taken advantage. I mean, how many times has De Sousa done that in his career? I don't think there's any other player in the world that miscounts as much as he does. But he smacks in a 180. And that's 3 180s in the space of 2 legs from De Sousa. How about another 9-darter chance? That'd make up for the miscount a few moments ago. As Miko says he wants Dimitri to win, which I'd love Dimitri to win it. That would be nice to have a debut to win it again. But he's hit 4 treble 20s. He's hit 5 treble 20s. He's hit 6 treble 20s. He's up for it again. Come on, De Sousa. He's got a second chance to hit the 9-darter now. Oh, here we go. This is a brilliant start as Aspinall smacks in a 180 of his own. Come on, De Sousa. Stop it. Needs the 60. Gets it. 57. Double 12 for 9-darter again. Yes! It's another one. It's a 9-darter again. It's 2 out of 2 nights. And he's this time Jose De Sousa. He's brilliant. Oh, cannot believe we've got 2 in a row. Unbelievable. He couldn't count 5 minutes ago, but he could count this time. And it's another 9-darter. Can you believe it?
Well, he started off on the right foot tonight, that's for sure. Another 9-darter on the night. And he's done it for us. Unbelievable. We waited 5 months for a 9-darter on this channel. We get 2 in 2. You love to see it. What a start to this match. As Das has got my beer out ready, Russ just said 32. The marker next to Russ made a mistake. And Aspinall, credit to him, gives a round of applause for the 9-darter. It's brilliant. As he smacks in a 180 of his own, Aspinall. I've got to take a breather again. That's 6 180s. In 3 legs! 6 180s. We've got another great night here, haven't we? I've hit the Russ spray there. Kian, you were spot on. He said he's going for it, Josh. And he certainly did indeed. Can you believe it? I didn't think we'd get another 9-darter one day after Johnny Clayton, but you kind of report saying if you throw 9 darters, you don't have to count. You're spot on, he doesn't. But this man, he knows how to fuck up. Oh, if there was any man who had worried he'd fuck up a 9-darter, it would be de Sousa. But chance here for Aspinall, check out 125. Oh, this would be brilliant. He went bull, outer bull. Bullseye for a champagne finish. And it's nowhere near. And I mean, I couldn't actually see where the dart had gone because the camera had panned way too close. But now there's a chance here for a 120 checkout from de Sousa. He's got 1 dart at tops. And he doesn't take it out. So a chance here for Aspinall at 49. And my heart rate's going mental. What an unbelievable week we've had. As Aspinall takes out the 49 to take a 2-1 lead in this game. And as it stands, de Sousa averaging 105, Aspinall averaging 106. What a game. You love to see it. Let's have 2 9-darters in one match. I'm probably being a bit greedy, aren't I now? Kian said he props it, got off Clayton. He must have been practicing yesterday to get a 9-darter of his own, which surely means now that whoever Nathan Aspinall plays tomorrow, he's got to take out a 9-darter in his game. Oliver Flanagan has put, hi, the Sports Corner. I'm from Ireland and I love this stream. Thank you very much, Oliver. Greatly appreciated. Hopefully you are enjoying the darts tonight. So, Aspinall here at 307. de Sousa at 367. He's going for another 180 here, de Sousa, but instead he will go for the 19s, which he's not going for tonight. He's going for the tops. We said yesterday, apparently it was something to do with his back, which is why he wasn't going for the for the treble 20s even. But Chloe said, I'm glad that there was another 9-darter. Hopefully there'll be some more. Oh, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? We were saying earlier, I think it was Chris who said, you know, we haven't had many. We've had a lot of 9-darters with the crowd not here. And we've had another one tonight as both players here are giving us an absolutely stellar match. This is why you love darts. It's fucking brilliant, isn't it? So chance here for de Sousa at the 134, but Aspinall looking for a 180 of his own. Gets a 140. And with the way that this game's gone, will de Sousa check this out? He's not going to be able to as he hits the 20 with his first dart. So what he's going to be able to do here is leave himself with a checkout. Alexa said, I heard in the football stream you're going mental. There was a 9-darter, Alexa, yes. We've had 2 9-darters in 2 days. There's a double 4 for 68. Can he hit it, Aspinall? Going to take a moment to just step back. And he doesn't. As Osty, did you miss it? I missed another one. You missed it again. Can you believe it? But yes, we had a 9-darter. 2 in 2 now, which is unbelievable as de Sousa has a chance at tops. And gets tops. And it's 2-2 in this game. And if it can continue on in the same pace, then I thought yesterday was going to be a match and a half. But this one is up there with it so far. Oliver Flanagan has asked, is Snake by Peter Wright playing? He played a little bit earlier on this afternoon. This evening, sorry. He got a 6-6 draw. Against Dimitri Vandenberg, you can see on the order of play on the right. But Chris saying that de Sousa is probably the first player to miscount in a leg. Then the leg after hits a 9-darter. Makes no sense, does it? When you think about it.
It's crazy. But look, credit to him. Miscounting will affect him big time. Big time. There will be a lot of moments, and we saw it last night when he played Clayton. The moment he miscounted was the moment that took him off his guard. And in the end, Clayton went on and won that match because of the miscount. Tonight, he was able to compose himself. I guess he's a little bit lucky. It was in the early stage of the match. He was able to compose himself. And fair play to him to continue on and get that 9 darter, literally the leg after, as he's on for another 180 here, and he gets another 180. He's firing them in tonight. That's 7 now on the board in this game, and we're only 5 legs in. Aspinall looking for a 180 of his own, but he won't get it. A 100 will do. As Osti van Osterman said, I think I should just not watch the darts and wait for Twitter to tell me if someone hits a 9 darter. Well, what I've got to do now is get this clip of the 9 darter in this game, and I've got to edit that clip now for tomorrow. So, but it'll work for me to do tonight. As Alexis asked, is there any attendance in the darts? Not currently, no. I think the next time we're going to see an attendance for the darts is, I think, the end of May. They're looking to get finals night with a crowd. As De Sousa has a chance here to check out on tops. And does, but he does it on double 10, sorry. He hits the 20 and then gets double 10. And it's now a 3-2 lead for Jose De Sousa. And this man is certainly giving us a very, very good 2 games. Averaging 108 in his last game and 105 in this one. Osti van Osterman said, last 9 darter I watched and didn't realise it was 9 darter. It was Jose De Sousa's 9 darter against us one. We haven't had one for quite a while here, but 3 darts again on the board for Jose De Sousa. That's 8 180s. I'm not going to get myself too excited here, but imagine a second one. Imagine if he gets 6 180s. Yeah, 6 180s, imagine. It'd be crazy, wouldn't it? But he's not going to do it this time, which is a real shame. As a close part, I think everyone would love if every player got a 9 darter at this point. It probably won't happen, but we can dream. We can dream. You've got to believe, haven't you, Chloe? We'd love to have every single player hit a 9 darter. Let's have Glen Durrant hit one, just to give him some confidence. As Aspinall swaps for the treble 19s, just like De Sousa did last night. And he's down to 94 here. De Sousa back at 278. And this is a topsy-turvy game. I know I've sat here and I've got very excited with all of the action going on, but Aspinall is giving him a very good game. And a chance here to check out the 94 on tops. He's got 1 dart in hand, Aspinall. Can he do it? No, he can't, but he will be coming back with De Sousa at 180. Chris saying, I never cry with laughter so much at De Sousa hitting that 9 darter. He's a crazy man. And it's a shame because you know you want to have fans in the stadium for these games. And it's a shame, isn't it, that we haven't got fans there tonight. But Aspinall with a chance here at tops to make it 3-all, which he takes. And that's a big, big dart there for Aspinall as this game goes all square once again. Alexa's asking who's the favourite to win the tournament. Currently MVG if you're going based on the bookies. But with the bookies, it's MVG first, Peter Wright second most likely, Johnny Clayton was third most likely, and then it was Dimitri Vandenberg. So it's quite a close competition, this one. And I think it will be until the very end. But only 58 to start here for Aspinall in this 7th leg. And you just feel like there for a moment, a little bit of disappointment, especially after getting himself equal in this match. And Jose De Sousa here gets another 180s. 180 central tonight. That's 9 180s in this game. And we've nearly had 20. In fact, I think we've now had 20 180s on the night. And it's only game number 3. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. This is why we love darts. And if you don't love darts, then I don't know how you couldn't. And as I said, it's a shame, look, fans aren't there, as there's a chance for another one. He's hitting the treble 20 bed like no one else. It's 10 in the match. And he's down to 45 here. And Jose De Sousa has now hit 8 180s in this match. As Rob Kerry's asked, Who is your predicted winner, mate? I've gone for Michael van Gerwen to win this competition, which is a bit of a boring guess, I guess. But I'm all for Johnny Clayton winning it, as well as... Has 2 darts here, a double 8 to Sousa. Now 1 dart... sorry, he hasn't got 1 dart at double 4. He's actually given Aspinall a chance here at the 170. Oliver Flanagan's asked, what about Phil the Power Taylor? He's not in the competition anymore. He retired a few years ago, although he might be coming back soon. So a chance here for Jose de Sousa to take the lead. 3 darts at double 4. And the first dart he hits it with, and Jose de Sousa is averaging 107.14. He's continuing on right now in the same fashion that he did yesterday. As Brocco says, loved darts since I was about 8 years old. I'm now 45. It's a great sport, isn't it? It's incredible. And I cannot wait for the day, and I don't know when it's going to be, but the day where we can all be sat together again in a stadium watching darts. It will be beautiful. It will be absolutely beautiful. Aspinall now averaging over 100 again in this game. He is giving everything to try and match Jose de Sousa, who is just on another level right now. Where was this a few days ago? He had a really slow start, didn't he, against Gary Anderson on night number 1? Or was it the second night? I can't remember which one it was, but when he played Gary Anderson, he struggled a bit as de Sousa gets 79 here. He's down to... I think he's down to 201, I think. As for Aspinall... Sorry, he's down to 288. I thought the Sky Sports scoreboard hadn't changed, but it had. So Aspinall averaging 100 bang on. As Chloe says, it's looking like a draw for this game at the moment, which is very, very true. It's been very back and forth, hasn't it? Every time de Sousa wins a leg, Aspinall seems to get one back. But can he get another leg here? Because if de Sousa makes it 5-3, you just feel like that the game will start to swing the special one's way. Buchanan report saying, I hope my grandkids for the first time in a year. What a joy. Honestly, it's... Hopefully we can get back to a state, you know, here in the UK, here in America, wherever you live, where we can just go out and enjoy ourselves again. Because I guess in the UK right now, we're in a fairly decent position, I guess, for stuff to start getting back to a kind of normal. You know, it's not going to get back to a normal that we knew before for a long, long time. But, you know, the day that we can get back to a stadium again, as I said, I really want to go to the match play. So if I can be at the match play in July, I'll be absolutely buzzing. But chance here for de Sousa to take a 5-3 lead, which he does on the double 8s. And now the special one has breathing space and a chance here to maybe get one leg on the board for a guaranteed point. Chris saying, what's the point of retiring if it baffles me, make your mind up. Taylor doesn't need to come back. No one will ever reach his tiles. For the World Senior Championship, Chris, would you want him back? Let's say this tournament is set up. It gets confirmed. We already know Phil's been asked to participate in it. For something like that, would you want to see him back? I think, if you're being honest, yes, you'd want to see him back. Because everybody who's participating in that tournament is retired. So I think in that respect, you'd want to see it. But Dad's saying he's trying to get a match play ticket next year. Hopefully you can, lad. As I said, there's a lot of match play tickets still available for this year. So what I'm hoping I can do is see if I can book a few days. And maybe, as I said, if I can go for 3 or 4 nights, go and watch 3 or 4 nights of the World Match Play. But until I know what's going on with the World, I don't want to book the tickets and then find out it's cancelled, because there's just no point, is there, right now? We book him. Chloe saying, I think Aspinall needs to do a 9-darter or 170. Would be ironic if it happens. I mean, it would be a Premier League classic, I think you could probably say, if he was to do something like that in this match. Chris saying, in the Senior Championship, yes, but not in the PDC, which is fair. I understand your point. Buchanan report saying, darts and family, now this darts channel, you're a joy to listen to, better with more alcohol though. I'll become the resident darts alcoholic, won't I? I've got 1 more can of gin left. I've nearly gone through 4. But I feel alright, I don't feel too bad. I don't mind these cans, to be fair, because they are quite decently priced as well. So to get four of these cans in the UK for a £5, don't think that's too bad. So chance here for Sousa at the 150, which he's not going to check out. And a chance here for Nathan Aspinall to make it 5-4 in this game, if he can check out the 84. Treble double 12 needed. He's going to get the 20. Going to get treble 14. So double 11 here for an 84. Oh, so close. Really, really big dart. You feel that is in the game. And it was a real good moment maybe to make it 5-4 and just get a little bit closer to Sousa in this match. But now, treble 20 double 8 needed here for Sousa. And if he makes it 6-3, you feel like he could go on and win this, which he's not. So a chance for Aspinall at double 11. Rob Kerry's last favourite tournament as Aspinall takes out that double 11 for 5-4. I mean, with that question, I could go for the easy option and say the World Championship, which is always going to be the favourite. But I really like the Grand Slam of darts. I don't know what it is about the Grand Slam of darts. I really like that. I think the UK Open is great as well, just because it's FA Cup-like, with everybody being drawn out. You don't know who you're going to face. And I like that overall. But, yeah, I mean, the World Championship's always a special one, isn't it? As I said, I was hoping to go to that first night this year, but things just went tits up, didn't they? As Sousa here looking for his 9th 180, and he gets it! 9 180s on the night now for Jose Sousa. 11 in the match. As apparently my prediction's now wrong, which is a shame. And every kind of reports put, now we know you're a cheap drunk. I don't think alcohol's badly priced in the UK. 4 cans for £5 is a bargain, especially for a cheap drunk. But there'll be no 9 dart chance again here for Sousa. He's down to 263 after 6 darts. Only 58 though after that 180 is a real disappointment for Jose Sousa. Although saying that, Aspinall here, now at 98, only gets 39. Dad's saying for me and my friend and his family, go to the arcades and peers in the mornings after breakfast. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like the match play being done in Blackpool. I'd love to go with someone there and go to it. Especially when, you know, you can, in the meantime, when the darts isn't on, you can go and spend time in Blackpool. But, you know, when we know what's happening with crowds and fans, I'll probably book to go there. But I don't want to book until I know what's going on, because until they announce what's actually happening with the match play, I don't feel like it's worth booking tickets. But saying that, Barry Earn came out recently and he said he's hoping we can have a full crowd at the match play. So who knows? Because with the darts, it's not like it's 25,000 people going to watch it. You know, the attendance is big, but it's not. It fills up a stadium, but it doesn't. If you get what I mean, it's not as big in terms of a football crowd, is it? It's a lower crowd, so I feel like it's a little bit more likely that darts will have a lot of fans back. But who knows with the world right now? You know, they're only having 25% attendance for the Euros, so chance here though for a 109 finish on double 18 for Sousa, doesn't get it. As Rob Kerry's asked me in the chat, do you play darts yourself? I do, but I'm shit at it. I average a terrible number, and my dartboard is ruined right now. So I was playing some darts today, but I believe all the darts I've got are now broke. So I'm going to have to just go and order a dartboard and some darts in the next few days and get back on the grind again, because I'm not great at darts. But Chris saying World Grand Prix, my favourite. I love all tournaments, but Grand Prix can catch players out when I would start on a double. Yeah, that's another one that's a real corker. Starting with the doubles is quite interesting. Quite a nightmare, isn't it, for a few players? There's a chance here for Sousa to go 6-4 up on double 9, and he doesn't get it. And there's a chance here now for Aspinall to make it 5-all in this game with 3 darts at double 8. And he does. And it's 5-all in this game, and whoever gets the next leg on the board will be guaranteeing themselves a point. And for me, you feel like this game could end 6-6 with the way it's panned out. And Chloe, she said it earlier, she thought it was going to end 6-6. But surely not another 180. Oh, yes! Another one! This is unbelievable. 10 180s for Jose Sousa. This man is unbelievable. Absolutely crazy. Dad's saying I got 10 cans for £8. I'd be mugged off. Then again, actually, I'd get 8 cans for 10. No, 4 cans for 5. Yeah, I get 8 cans for 10. It's alright, I guess, at the end of the day. Stephen's saying, on a serious note, this dart feels bent most of the time. It's mad, isn't it? This game's crazy. 10 180s for Sousa. When you put that into stats, I think Sousa has probably hit about 20% of the 180s in this competition. And he's hit one again, and he's equalled the record for the most 180s in one game in the Premier League. History maker for the special one. And now he's got a chance to go 6-5 in this game. 9-6. 9-16 even, I can't speak. Can he get the double 16? No, he can't. But he will have a chance maybe to break the record for the most 180s in one game by an individual player in the Premier League. Unbelievable. And I literally sat there and slagged him off yesterday. He's turned up now, hasn't he? Got 3 darts here with the double 16. And he hits it. And it's 6-5. And Jose de Sousa guarantees himself a point. But now he could be on for history. One more 180 will get him a spot with the most 180s in the Premier League. Can he do it? Or will he match the history books? Big moments here for Jose de Sousa. You probably won't know it, but he hits the treble 20. He hits another one. Surely, the chance. Oh, he doesn't hit it. He hits a 20 and it's a 140 and he's still got a chance to make history in this game. Keane saying my prediction is oof. I think a lot of people's predictions are out the window here. As he's got another chance here. And he's not going to hit it this time. 11 180s. He won't care. In the back of his mind, he'll just be thinking in this game, let me just get the victory and get out of here with the big result. But when you've hit a 9-darter, in the back of his mind, he's probably thinking, let me hit one more before the end of this game. Because this has been a thrilling match. And this will be his last chance. Treble 20 on the board. And he's not going to get it. And that is the chance gone for Jose de Sousa to become history maker. But he will match it up with 11 180s, which is incredible indeed. Tony saying, could you have a wee indicator up on who's thrown 4 each leg? I might need it in the future. I might need it, I'm not going to lie. There's 111 of you in here. Thank you so much to everybody who's joined. Don't forget, if you have enjoyed the stream so far, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription. If you are new, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated. For those of you that have joined, we're covering the Premier League for the entirety of the competition. And we're drinking. We're on to 4 gins tonight. And the chance here for Aspinall to get a point on the ball, which he won't. So de Sousa now with a chance to win the game. With a check out of 90. Treble 20, double 15 needed for the special one. For an incredible victory. Gets the 20. Gets another 20. Ball. And he hits the outer ball. So a chance now for Aspinall to take an incredible 6-6 draw away. What a brilliant point it would be. And what a brilliant point it is! Nathan Aspinall somehow comes out with a point in this game against Jose de Sousa. How he's done it, I've got no idea. But Jose de Sousa hit a 9-darter. That's 2 in 2 nights in the Premier League of darts. But what a game it was overall. And both players averaged over 100 in this match, I believe. It was an incredible, incredible game. And no doubt that is going to be a Premier League of darts classic. 6-6 on the night. And I mean, after that, you've just got to take a moment to take a breather, because that was absolutely exceptional darts from both players on a night where, I mean, I don't think anybody expected another 9-darter to go in, but it did. And the special one, who was on the back of a 9-darter last night, found himself a 9-darter in this game. Unbelievable. I'm going to take a quick moment to breathe. As I said, once again, if you are new to the stream, please don't forget to leave a like and subscription on the channel if you are new as always. We have got another stream going on right now based on the Europa League. We're covering all of the games in the Europa League tonight. We have got a goal show going on, so if you're interested in any of that content with all of the football, then I highly do recommend checking it out. If you're wondering what the scores are, though, currently as it stands, Ajax are 1-0 up against AS Roma, Arsenal 0-0 against Slavia Prague, Dinamo Zagreb 0-0 against Villarreal, and then also Granada still 1-0 down to Manchester United. So lots of action. Well, I'm saying lots of action. Not really much action going on there, is there, right now in the football? But here's a look at some of the other content going on across the rest of the week and the weekend on the Sports Corner. I'll tell you one thing. There's a hell of a lot of content to come. It's a big week of action on the Sports Corner with lots of content still to come through the midweek and into the weekend. Don't forget our multi-stream option is still available on the channel for the final day as the Premier League of Darts Night 4 continues with the start of the Europa League quarter-finals beginning tonight. As we'll be live with the Premier League of Darts, you can join the rest of the Sports Corner team from 7:50 for all of the action in the Europa League quarter-final first leg goal show. And then on Friday morning from 10 AM you can join Rowan live for the A-League action, which includes MacArthur Bulls taking on Brisbane Roar. Then on Friday, the last night of Premier League darts action, you can join me live from 7:05, who's going to get the final few points on the board before the break. And then on Saturday, it's El Clasico. You can join me from 5 to 8 on Saturday night for a whole host of action on the Sports Corner. I hope you guys have had a chance there to just have a quick breather, because what a game we've just witnessed between Jose de Sousa and Nathan Aspinall. And look, I didn't think last night we were going to be able to get a better game than we did between Johnny Clayton and de Sousa. But de Sousa, he must have thought in the back of his head, no, I'm not having a game where I lose being the best game of the tournament. He went out there today and, my lord, he put a performance in that I don't think many people would have expected. As you'll have seen a few moments ago, of course, he has matched the record that Gary Anderson hit of the most 180s in a single match in the Premier League. And let's go over the stats of the game overall, because, I mean, that was an absolutely incredible match. As I've got one more can of gin left. I'm going to have to go and buy some more tomorrow. I'm running out already. It's unbelievable. But Jose de Sousa, 11 180s in this game. Nathan Aspinall, 2 180s. And 99.79 average for Jose de Sousa, which is mad. I thought he averaged over 100, but apparently not. And Nathan Aspinall, he averaged 95.82. So apparently neither of them averaged over 100, but it felt like the game of the tournament. 1-4-1 checkout, of course, from de Sousa with the 9-darter. As for the actual checkouts themselves, it's crazy. Only 25% success on doubles for Jose de Sousa tonight. 42.86% success on doubles for Aspinall, which is probably why he was able to go on and get a point. But my lord, what a game overall. And we'll talk about it more in a second. But Jan Kowalski, hope you're all good, my friend. He's put, where's Bunting in this competition? The reason why he didn't make it in is because he didn't win a major title. Hence why he's not in the competition, sadly. But we will see Stephen Bunting again fairly soon in the PD Super Series, I think. And then apparently it's just become 1-1 in the game between Ajax and Roma, for anybody that is wondering the scoreline there. But how... You've got to think to yourself, for Nathan Aspinall, that will probably be one of the best points that he gets in this tournament. The fact that he wasn't in a position for large spells of the game, probably at any point where he felt like he was going to be able to go and get something. But he did, and he got a result. And I mean, Tony Walker saying 31 180s hit tonight. That's more than night 1 and night 3 already. And we've still got 2 more games to go. Wade versus Van Gerwen and Gary Anderson coming up against Glen Durrant. That is coming up, of course, in a little bit. But no, the stats are wrong, sorry. De Sousa did average 100. He did average 100.79, which is good to see. I thought at least one of the players would have averaged 100 in this competition. And he is, of course, just having an interview with Sky Sports now. And it's great to see him smiling, because what a reaction from him. Absolutely incredible to go on and hit the 9-darter in this game. But let's take a moment to look at how the tournament is going to pan out overall over the next few weeks. Maybe some of you guys are new to darts and you haven't seen before how the Premier League of Darts works. Now, usually the Premier League of Darts would be one night every Thursday over 17 weeks, and then we get the semi-final/finals night separate on its own, and then of course we find out who the winner is. But because of COVID-19, the situation has changed, and the whole complexion of the Premier League of Darts is much different to how a tournament would usually run. So this is how the rest of the Premier League is going to continue on. So we've got one more night of Premier League action on the Friday, which will be live from 7:05, and then we'll have a 10-day break without any action going on, which you'll find me then back on the 19th of April. That will be nights 6 to 8, and then of course Thursday 22nd of April, it's a big night. It's Judgment Night, in which the bottom 2 players in the Premier League will find themselves relegated and booted out of the tournament. Once that's done, we'll have a little break, and then we'll go to nights 10 to 12. That will continue on without the 8 players, with 8 players, in the competition. That's Wednesday 5th to Friday 7th of May. We'll then have a 2-week break. We'll be back on the Monday 24th to the 27th for the final 3 normal nights. And then on Friday 28th of May, we'll have playoffs night, which will of course decide the winner of the Premier League of Darts. So that's how it's all running in terms of the next few weeks. There's a lot of action still to come. But Jan Kowalski's asked me in the chat about Stephen Bunting. He's not in this competition. The next time we'll see Stephen Bunting play is at the PDC Super Series, which is in a few weeks' time. So he's not in this competition, sadly. So it won't be a few more weeks until we see Stephen Bunting again. But let's move on to our next game of the night now. And this one for me, I thought this was going to be the game of the night, but I was obviously proved wrong. James Wade against Michael van Gerwen. Now, when we look at both of these players and how they play form-wise, James Wade so far in this tournament hasn't really got going. That first night against Gary Anderson, he was probably quite shocked that he didn't get a victory in that game. The second night, he played against Aspinall. He played against Aspinall yesterday, didn't he? And he didn't get a win on the board. And he must be thinking in his head, surely I've got to get a win soon. In fact, he's right now currently sat in 9th. No victories on the board, 1 draw, 1 point with a -7 leg difference. It's not a good start, is it, at all for James Wade in this tournament. As for Michael van Gerwen, though, he of course is playing in pretty fine fashion. He's got the 107 average yesterday, which was brilliant for him. Really, really good performance against Rob Cross. Dominated that game for large spells. And I would expect him tonight to go out there and put another ruthless performance in. This is the man that doesn't like anybody on a night upstaging him. And he's got a chance to go out there now and do something better than Jose de Sousa. And I mean, look, he's probably not going to hit a 9-darter. And if he does, then the green screen's going, the chair's out the window, I'm jumping in celebration and everything. But I think James Wade tonight has to go out there and put in a better performance. I think what he's done so far hasn't been good enough. But I am going to back Michael van Gerwen to win this tonight, I think. I think I'm going to go 7-4. However, I did make my prediction for it in a video, which I'm not going to show now because there's no point because I've just made the prediction now. But Oliver Flanagan thinks that James Wade's going to win this one, which I think, look, he's got to put in a good performance soon, hasn't he, James Wade? And maybe tonight's the night to do it. Get yourself a brilliant result against Van Gerwen and it'll make the league very, very interesting, especially with everything that's gone on tonight with Aspinall drawing and Vandenberg and Wright dropping points. It would be so, so tight indeed. But look, as Rian said in the stream, and it's a very, very fair point, if last night is anything to go on, MVG will win 7-3. That's what you'd expect. I think it's what most people will expect. But who knows with James Wade? He's got to go out there and put in a much better performance overall, or else he's going to find himself in a very, very tricky position indeed. And when you look at the table, that was the table yesterday, of course. He's struggled big time, Wade. There's a lot of work to do, isn't there, for him? And I wonder if he'll be able to do it tonight against Michael van Gerwen, because it's a tough one, especially when MVG's averaging 107 in the previous night. But we've got one more game to come. Gary Anderson against Glen Durrant. That'll be after James Wade against Michael van Gerwen. But don't forget, if you are new to the stream, I don't like saying it often, but I do. Don't forget to leave a like and a subscription on the channel. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated for those of you that haven't. I know there's a lot of you in here right now. There's 58 of you and only 22 likes. Can we get the likes up? It would be massively, massively appreciated. If you do want to keep up to date on when we do go live, then I recommend checking out our social media links. Our Twitter is @the_top corner. And our Instagram is _sportscorner_. Please do go and check those out. I always tweet out and post on Instagram when we do go live on YouTube. So I would recommend checking that out if you want to keep up to date on when we go live with all of the streams that we cover. And then, as I said before, and I keep saying, there's still action tonight in the Europa League. All the boys on the Sports Corner on the team are covering those games right now. Ajax Roma currently 1-1. Arsenal Slavia Prague is 0-0. Zagreb 0-0 against Villarreal, which would be a great result for the Croatians. And then Granada only 1-0 down to Man United, which I think is a great result for them overall. But we will get underway with the action in just a few moments' time for this next game. Let's actually take a look at the prediction that I made before the stream. I sat down and this morning and actually made my prediction. Am I sticking with what I said, or did I go differently? Let's find out. So this is my prediction for the next game of the night, which is going to be James Wade against Michael van Gerwen. Now, as you know, because Gerwyn Price dropped out of the tournament, and I did these predictions before the actual tournament started, all the Gerwyn Price videos that I did were basically pointless. So what I'm doing right now is just recording some of the Gerwyn Price games, and I'm doing my predictions from the point of, what is it today? I think it's the 8th of April. So I will have seen a few games in comparison to the predictions that I did before, but get on to this game very quickly so I don't ramble on for 5 years. James Wade v Michael van Gerwen. I think James Wade so far in this competition has been quite poor. Was it expected? Maybe. I think the fact he hasn't had much time to practice will have kind of hindered his performance levels a little bit. But for me, that performance yesterday against Rob Cross was ruthless from Michael van Gerwen. And we saw him last year in the first section of the tournament. He was ruthless against the rest of the pack and played really well. And then when we got into the second batch of games, he struggled. But I don't think Michael van Gerwen's going to do it this time. And if I'm being honest with you, I would expect Michael van Gerwen to go out and win this game quite comfortably. I'm going to go 7-3, I think, to Van Gerwen. I'm not giving Wade much of a chance tonight, but maybe he might be able to go out there and prove me wrong. But I think Van Gerwen is probably looking quite the favourite to finish top. So that was the prediction that I made off stream. Of course, the problem with Gerwyn Price not being in the tournament, I sat there, I recorded all those videos beforehand, so it's a little bit easier to predict a game like James Wade and Michael van Gerwen. As you expected, I did go for Michael van Gerwen in my prediction beforehand, but both players out onto the oche for this game. Hopefully we don't have a situation like we did last time where we had to sit there and wait for James Wade to get the Unibet stickers on the sides. But yeah, we should get underway with this game in a moment's time. And hopefully we have another good game on our hands, because it's been quite a fantastic night of action so far with that 9-darter, of course, from Jose de Sousa. I think that's put there's only 3 of them. I recorded that video beforehand. Either that or I said there's 3 more games. I'm probably wrong. But Jan Kowalski's put, what do you think about the Polish starter Krzysztof Ratajski? Bloody good player on his day. I mean, his run at the World Championship was quality. Absolutely quality. And I did think for a little bit that he was maybe up in contention to make the final. But he's a great player to watch on his day. And a real underdog. Well, I'm saying underdog, but a very underappreciated player is probably the best way to put it. For how good he is. As for Kian, he thinks 7-1 MVG. Bloody hell, that'd be a rout, wouldn't it? Let's crack up with the last can of the night. I'm saying last can. If not, I'll just go downstairs and get a few more. But Oliver Flanagan, backing James Wade. Will he be the one person in the chat to predict right tonight? We'll have to find out. But Chris is going for 7-5. MVG and Wade have the highest career checkout percentages in Premier League history. So if we're going based on that, they're finishing everything tonight. But the last 2 games for Wade says differently, doesn't it? If we're being honest. So, let's get underway. Oh my lord, it's George Noble is back again. Here we go. I thought it was Kurt Bevins for a second. That's why I got excited. It's George Noble, who of course is the referee tonight. We've only got 2 refs. Russ Bray and Georgian All was getting underway. Surely we're not going to see another 9-darter. Let's hope we have a good match though. MVG will look to average around about that 107 that he had, of course, yesterday against Rob Cross. We need James Wade tonight to go out there and give MVG a very good game. But he started off here with his first 3 darts, 301. As Daz has put, got you in the modus on, which is very nice indeed. As 4A Studio, he's also back in Wade. Very best of luck. 7-5 is going to Wade tonight. I think that's a very interesting shout. If Wade was to win, it would be a brilliant result for him and a massive confidence booster because Peter Wright dropped points tonight. He's only got 4 on the board. Jose de Sousa, even now, has only got 2 points. I was saying that MVG here, looking for the first 180 of the night, but he doesn't get it. And I wonder how many 180s we'll have by the end of the evening. As MVG's down to 164 here. James Wade down at 120. And this will be a very interesting opportunity. As Kian says, I'm going to put you down so you can watch it, but I will stay in stream. That's all good. That is all good, Kian. Hopefully you enjoy the match. As Daz said, oh, 3 guys, of course. Of course. We were supposed to have Will on tonight, but Will wasn't available in the end, which was a shame. We were supposed to have Adam as well, but Adam wasn't available. As Wade checks out 120 to start off this match between Wade and Van Gerwen. And that's exactly what you want to see. A nice ton plus finish to start off this game. And tonight he had to. It was imperative that he improves on his finishing. I think when you look at his last 2 nights, James Wade, it's around about, I would have said about 35% overall in terms of his last 2 games for checkout success, which is just not good enough. For a player of Wade's quality as well, it's nowhere near good enough. Maybe tonight might be the night to get that up to around about the 40 and 50 mark. As Van Gerwen here at 314 after 6 darts. James Wade in the driving seat again, although it's MVG with the break of throw. Well, it's I'd say a slow start from MVG, but he's roaring already. He's already starting to scream and shout, which has been something that he's been doing quite a lot recently in the Premier League. He has certainly started roaring at the camera a lot more, and I don't know whether it's a way of maybe motivating himself a little bit and trying to pump himself up a bit. But it's working. And maybe it's something he just has to keep doing right now because it's working an absolute charm. As Van Gerwen's down to 137 here. James Wade going to get himself 100 to leave 141, so it's quite a tight leg this one. As Daz is also going for James Wade. He's going 7-4, so a lot of people backing Wade here. As he's got a chance to check out 137. Oh, it would have been a right chance for MVG. With 2 darts at tops. He got his first dart, but he didn't get the second one. And it's a chance now for Wade to check out the 141, which he's not going to be able to do here after hitting treble 1 with his first dart. So MVG here. Chance to make it 1-1 on the night with tops, which he gets. And that is 1-1 in this game. And Michael van Gerwen is back in the match. And I can't believe we've only got 1 more night left before we have a 10-day break. It's going to feel like the longest 10 days in the world, but if you're in the UK, I guess, things are opening up again. So I'll have a haircut by the time we come on to the next stream. I'll look a bit more fresh. As both players start off with a 140 in this 3rd leg of the match. Just how will James Wade respond to yesterday's defeat against Michael van Gerwen? He's done pretty good so far. And it's mad. We haven't had a 180 yet. We had about 15 in the last match. We haven't had one. But Michael van Gerwen's not really hit many 180s recently, especially in the Premier League. I don't think he really hit many yesterday. Was it 2 or 3? It wasn't a lot. I'm going to be hoping maybe tonight to get himself down to a finish here at 264. He's going to get down to 170, so good tactics there from MVG to leave himself with a finish. We haven't had a 170 finish yet in this tournament. The highest one being, I think, we had a 164, I think we had. in one of the games. But there'll be no 170 here for MVG. Doesn't hit the treble 20 with his first dart. So 180 here for James Wade. Treble 17, he's going to go tops instead. Got another chance here if he can hit the treble 20, which he doesn't. So Van Gerwen will be coming back to take a 2-1 lead with treble 14, double 16 to check out 74. Gets the treble 14, 2 darts at double 16. First dart's a good marker. Second dart just wide, and a big chance now here for James Wade. 2 darts at tops to go 2-1 up in this game. And you would expect Wade to take it out. 1 dart at double 10. And 1 dart is all he needs. 2-1 to James Wade in this game. As thank you very much for it, studio. Dimitri Vandenberg had a 164, so that's the highest one we've had so far in the tournament, the 164. I said we haven't had a 167 yet, we haven't had a 170. I think we'll probably see one at some point. But we haven't had one yet, as MVG's checkout success is 25%. So, not the best so far, but he's not had many chances. Maybe a chance here for a 180, which he doesn't get, but a 1-2-3 will do. And apparently this is James Wade's worst Premier League start. Only 1 point on the board in the last 3 games. He'll be hoping tonight he can maybe get to 2 or 3 points. Preferably 3 points to stay in line with Peter Wright and Jose de Sousa. Around that middle section of the table. But he's also got Glen Durrant tomorrow. So if he can beat MVG and then beat Durrant, 4 points on the board in the last 2 games would put him in a much different position. He'd just have to hope there's a few more draws elsewhere. And a few of the bigger players at the top end of the table dropping points. And he might just be able to get himself something in this Premier League of darts. I want to see MVG's average here. Only averaging 96.29 right now. James Wade averaging 85.84, but it's the checkouts that are so critical for James Wade here. 66.67 on his doubles, which is why he's in such a decent position here against MVG. So Wade at 120. I'm hearing cheers. I think somebody might have scored in the Europa League. 120 for Wade here. Gets the treble 20. He's going to have 1 dart at tops. In a good position as well to take it out. And doesn't. And it had to go because now MVG with a chance to make it 2-all, you would surely think would take out the 58. With 2 darts in hand. Good marker. And his second dart is even higher. And it's just not good enough here for MVG right now. And Wade's got a real chance to take a 3-1 lead. First dart. Just wide of the mark. But the second dart is in. And James Wade with a 2-leg lead on Michael van Gerwen. And there's a shake of the head here from MVG. And after averaging 107 yesterday in his game, he just doesn't seem to be able to get anything going here. As he gets 58 to start. Really, really interesting start. But now he might get the first 180 on the board. And does! There's the first one in this game. Waited quite a while for one of those, haven't we? In comparison to the Jose de Sousa match. But how about this? James Wade going for one of his own. And gets a 140 to get down to 303. That's 4 perfect darts. Not 5, sadly. So there'll be no chance for MVG at the 9-darter. But he is down to 182. And you feel like MVG will be hoping at some point he can get on the 9-darter tally in this tournament. As James Wade's down to 132. Chance here though for MVG to leave a good finish. Which he leaves himself down at 52. Wim Rudolph saying, I think MVG misses the crowd and the energy they provide, which I think is very, very true. I think there's a lot of players missing the crowd. Peter Wright probably being another one as well who misses the crowd massively. So chance here to check out 52 MVG. Got 1 dart left at double 16, now a double 8. And misses again. And now a chance for James Wade to make it 4-1 if he can check out 25. 2 darts at double 10. And 1 dart is all he needs. It's 4-1 to James Wade. Who would have thought this? Tell you what, Daz backed Wade to win. Kian backed Wade to win. And 4A, sorry, Kian backed 7-1 MVG, I'm wrong. 4A backed Wade to win. And right now, the 7-1 prediction Kian put in the chat, to MVG, could go the other ways. He's currently 13% on double success MVG. It's not been a good night so far for him. And you cannot afford to miss as Wade averages 92. Michael van Gerwen averages 95. And there's a chance for another 180 here in the game, which Wade doesn't get, but a 140 will do. And I mean, if he makes it 5-1 here, oh my lord, that is ridiculous. Daz has asked who's Wright got tomorrow. I can find out for you. Wright has got Rob Cross. So Rob Cross tomorrow, Peter Wright's got. I think that's the third game of the evening, so should be an interesting one to watch that. Especially with how well both players played today. But we're down to 161 here. Van Gerwen at 250. It is a really interesting game, this one. Got a chance to check out the 161 here, James Wade. Has one dart the ball for a 161. Oh, it's the outer ball, and there's another chance that goes wide. And Van Gerwen now, he'll want to check out the 110. He's going to have one dart at the double 16 and gets it. And it's a ton plus finish. And all MVG can say is wow. Because all game long, it's just been his luck, hasn't it? He's not been able to hit anything. But when it comes to that 1 ton plus finish, he hits it. And he just gets himself back into this match as James Wade has the hold of throw. What an interesting game this one is. Not the most amazing in terms of averages, 180s and stuff, but James Wade is just going to make sure here he doesn't allow MVG another leg back on the board, or else this one gets very interesting. Just doesn't seem in the right frame of mind tonight, Michael van Gerwen. I don't know what it is. Just doesn't seem to be himself, which has probably been said quite often in the last few months of MVG's career, with all of the games that he's lost. But there's a real opportunity for James Wade to make it 5-2, and as MVG rushes to try and desperately make it 4-3, Wade's down to 1-2-1. Michael van Gerwen's back at 2-6-4. He's going to have at least 6 darts here to check it out. He might only need 3. Gets treble 7. He's going to have 1 dart at tops. And he doesn't even need 6 darts. It's 5-2 to James Wade. And I tell you what, he's having a brilliant game right now. He's 1 leg away from a point against Michael van Gerwen. And a very deserved point it would be. And I don't think many people would have expected MVG in a game like this to have not come out firing on all cylinders. But he hasn't. And this could be the quickest game of the night with the way it's going. And he just doesn't seem to be clicking tonight for MVG at all. And James Wade has the perfect opportunity here. Surely you would expect to win the game with 2 more legs minimum for a guaranteed 2 points. And when you look at the averages, 95.56 for Wade, 93 for Van Gerwen. This is the example of when Van Gerwen doesn't play well, he's not always going to be able to win everything. You know, he said in that game against Peter Wright when he averaged 92, I played terrible in that match, but I came out with a victory because Peter was crap. James Wade tonight has had a pretty similar average to what Peter Wright had in that game. And he is certainly giving MVG quite the spanking, I think you could say right now. But MVG down to 94. Wade back at 3-1-5 here. Might be a chance for MVG just to reignite the fire in his belly and get himself back into this match. He's going to have 1 dart at double 8 for a 94 finish, which he gets. And that might be a chance for MVG to redeem himself in this match. It's 5-3 as it currently stands in this game. And look, there's a long way to go in this match before it's done and dusted. But this next leg is imperative that James Wade gets it on the board and just gives him the comfort of a point minimum. As for MVG, he's just got to fight back, which is something you feel like he's had to do a hell of a lot recently. We saw him do it at the World Championship in what was one of the best games of the tournament by a country mile, but this is a different atmosphere. Apparently now it's 1-0 Arsenal as well in their game against Slavia Prague, which is a real shame for Rowan, because he is a Slavia Prague fan. And he was hoping tonight maybe Slavia Prague could come out with something, but Van Gerwen here at 367. James Wade at 275. And I've got to say, James Wade in the driving seat here to get the guaranteed point on the board, because MVG only gets 50. And now, James Wade, who hits a 140, puts himself in the driving seat to get a guaranteed point on the board. Apparently it was Nicolas Pepe that scored, according to Daz. Thank you very much. Keeping you updated. Not going to be able to watch the Champions League anymore this year, which is a shame. Only until the final, I think. But 135 checkout here, maybe with double 12. Oh, it's brilliant. It's beautiful from James Wade, and the machine has been turned back on after a faulty 2 games. And Van Gerwen is going to have to win the next 3 legs if he wants to get a point minimum in this game. And it's going to be tricky for him here to get something back in this match. But can MVG do it? He really, really needs something, and fast, or else James Wade is going to take a massive 2 points, especially with how the Premier League has started for him. He could have been down there with the rest of the pack, with Durrant in that bottom section with a point on the board, but he's delivered tonight a very good result. And I think MVG, going into this 10-day break, will be very, very frustrated at the fact that he will not be sat at the top of the table tonight if he doesn't get a point back and fast. Vandenberg getting a point, Aspinall getting a point. It's a massive night for Rob Cross and for Peter Wright, because they've been able to just edge a little bit closer towards the top of the table. As Oliver Finnegan says, come on James Wade, one more leg for the match. So 97 there for Van Gerwen, leaves 122. Wade back at 201. You feel a 140 is needed. In fact, he has got it. And he gets 159 to leave 62. But will he get a chance at it? Or will MVG check out the 122? The answer is no, he won't. And a chance here for James Wade to seal the deal with a 7-3 win. Gets 9, which is not where he wanted to go. So he's going to have 1 dart at tops to finish the job, and he doesn't. So maybe an opportunity for Van Gerwen. He's got to take out this 83, or you feel James Wade has got it in the bag. He starts off with a 17, 16, 1 dart at ball, and he's just wide. And surely now you feel James Wade is taking this match, and he does. And James Wade comfortably dispatches Michael van Gerwen in a 7-3 win, and the machine gets his first win of the tournament, and it is an absolutely deserved win. And just as we were all thinking, is MVG maybe about to get a foothold at the top of the table? The answer is no, he will not. And it wasn't a great night for MVG at all. It was a poor average, and James Wade, who averaged 94.5 on his average, got himself a 58.33% checkout success, and that was so crucial and detrimental to the result there for James Wade, who finds himself getting closer towards the top of the pack. And as for MVG, I mean, this table is wide open now, isn't it? We'll look at the table, of course, a little bit later on in the stream to decipher how it's looking right now. But if you're Aspinall, if you're Vandenberg, if you're Rob Cross, you're thinking to yourself, what a win for James Wade. You've put us right in the driving seat to be up there with the rest of the big boys like MVG. And even Peter Wright, I think, will be happy with that result tonight. As for James Wade, though, gets him, I think, up to 3 points now, which will be a massive confidence booster for him. And especially with the fact that he's got Glen Durrant tomorrow night, he does have an opportunity to get up to 5 points, which would be great considering the rough start he had at the beginning of the tournament. Don't forget, we've had a whole range of games tonight on the channel. If you are new, please don't forget to leave a like and a subscription if you are on the channel. There's still some action going on in the Europa League tonight with Arsenal against Slavia Prague, Granada as well, up against Manchester United, 2 of the big games. So if you do want to check that out in the meantime, then that is available as part of our multi-stream option on the Sports Corner over the week. And over the entirety of the Premier League of Darts, we will be continuing it on for those of you that want to watch the football action. But Chris saying, again, can't say I'm shocked. I said Wade can beat him if he turns up. Wade's finishing turned. MVG didn't turn up at all in both scoring and finishing. And, well, it's terrible tonight from MVG, isn't it? If you're an MVG fan, you're thinking, what's gone wrong? What's happened? You only averaged 107 the other day. And now you're coming out with an average of, what? 90.91. Not a good one at all. But we've got one more game, as I said, to come. Gary Anderson against Glen Durrant. We'll talk about that in a little moment's time. We'll talk a little bit more about this game in a moment and how it changes the table up. But once again, as I always do in the break, gives me a chance to quickly have a break. Here's a quick look at what's to come up on the Sports Corner over the weekend as well as midweek. It's a big week of action on the Sports Corner with lots of content still to come through the midweek and into the weekend. Don't forget, our multi-stream option is still available on the channel for the final day as the Premier League of Darts Night 4 continues with the start of the Europa League quarter-finals beginning tonight. As we'll be live with the Premier League of Darts, you can join the rest of the Sports Corner team from 7:50 for all of the action in the Europa League quarter-final first leg goal show. And then on Friday morning from 10 AM, you can join Rowan live for the A-League action, which includes MacArthur Bulls taking on Brisbane Roar. Then on Friday, the last night of Premier League darts action, you can join me live from 7:05, who's going to get the final few points on the board before the break. And then on Saturday, it's El Clasico. You can join me from 5 to 8 on Saturday night for a whole host of action on the Sports Corner. So there's some of the action coming up over the next week. As I said, as I always say, lots of good content to come. We've got that big game on Saturday night, El Clasico. Barcelona taking on Real Madrid, which is the game I'm going to cover. And that'll probably be my last stream for a week. The Premier League of Darts, after Friday, isn't back till the 19th, so I might have maybe 1 or 2 streams in the week. But apart from that, it's a chance for me to take a step back and get everything prepared for these Premier League of Darts nights. Because, look, it might seem simple to get the screens and stuff started, but with all of the graphics and stuff, I make them, it takes some time. And of course, it gives me time to prepare for all of that. When we do come back on the 19th of April for 4 solid nights of non-stop darting action. But what we witnessed a moment ago was a very, very good game from James Wade. And I think, to be honest, after probably the second leg in the game, I would be feeling, if he were James Wade, he must have been thinking, I've got to beat MVG quite convincingly in this match. Never really turned up. There was the 110 checkout that Michael van Gerwen got, where I thought for a second, maybe he might turn up in this game and he switch it on slightly, but he didn't. And all James Wade had to do in the end was just play how he usually does. Get the finishers on the board. He got 3 ton plus checkouts. And in the end, MVG loses 7-3. And it's a massive, massive result in the complexion of the table because Peter Wright on the night picks up a point. He'll be happy with that after MVG loses. Dimitri, Vandenberg gets a point that keeps him towards the top end. Rob Cross with a win now. He's in contention for the top 4 as it stands. And then, of course, Aspinall as well, who will be quite happy with his draw tonight. Will be even happier that Van Gerwen's dropped points again, which will allow him a little bit of an opportunity maybe tomorrow to take advantage of MVG's stumble. But we'll move on to the last game of the night now. Gary Anderson coming up against Glen Durrant. This should be... I don't want to sit here, right, and say this should be an easy game. With the way that the group has been with the way that the group stage has been so far and how Glen Durrant's played, I think deep down in everybody's mind, if you're playing bad and if you're having a tough time in the Premier League right now, the one player you want to play against is Glen Durrant. and he's sat on the bottom of the league, 3 defeats now, minus 15 on legs, which is 9 legs worse than Jose de Sousa, who's got the second worst amount of legs on the board. You have to start worrying for Glen Durrant here that if tonight he doesn't get something on the board, I think you start to see a likelihood that Glen Durrant's going to get relegated. And I don't want to sit here and I don't want to say he's relegated, he's out, he's played terrible, because at the end of the day, he's going through a very, very tough patch. But if you're Gary Anderson and if you're Dimitri Vandenberg, exactly what the Belgian said last night, when he beat him 7-0, you feel for your opponent, but you just have to go out there and get the result. It's not about care. It's sports. They care about the opponent, do you know what I mean? But they also don't need to. They need to go out there and just go out there and get a result. If you win 7-0, deep down, you feel sorry for your opponent. But as a sports player, sportsman, sportswoman, whatever sport it is, you want to be ruthless. And he was last night, Dimitri Vandenberg. And I don't think tonight we're going to see that same sense of ruthlessness in this game against Gary Anderson. I think personally, Gary Anderson will allow Glen Durrant 1 or 2 opportunities in this game to maybe go out there and get himself a leg or 2 on the board. I would love to see Glen Durrant win it, and I think a lot of people would want to see Glen Durrant win this game just to get a win on the board or a point at least. But as a Gary Anderson fan, I'm backing Gary Anderson all the way. I think he should win it. And I think he'd probably win it by 7-3, 7-4. Don't forget, I'd like to see your predictions in the chat. I think a lot of people would love to see Glen Durrant win this game just as a big confidence booster to get himself something on the board. But while you guys put your prediction in, I am going to say, you might have noticed on the bottom of the stream, if you're a regular viewer on the channel, we have a Join Now section, which we've just introduced onto the channel. Basically, we've got this Sports Corner Premium, which is going to be a premium service that you pay a small fee for, where you'll get exclusive streams, video content, and exclusive badges that regular viewers can't get. If you want to know a little bit more about it, this is the video that's perfect for you. If it would play. There we go. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me for this press conference today. Now, you're probably wondering why I have announced this press conference at halftime of your stream. And first of all, I want to say, on the Sports Corner, for months now, we have been thinking of introducing a premium service for our loyal viewers, where you guys can pay a small fee to get involved with a whole host of exclusive bonus features and content that other viewers can't get. And I am today, as the manager of the Sports Corner, delighted to announce that the Sports Corner Premium is now available on our YouTube channel. Now, I've got people on this side of the room, some journalists asking me how much is it going to cost, and I can tell you it's only going to cost you £4.99 a month, and there'll only ever be one level so everybody can get involved for the right price. And there's a few journalists on this side of the room also asking me, well, what features do you get as part of your subscription? And I can tell you, my friend, that some of the features will involve exclusive badges, which are based on tiers, and you will get new badges based on your 1st, 3rd, 6th, 9th, 12th, and 24th month as part of our Sports Corner Premium package. And that does involve, in your 24th month, getting a very exclusive Sports Corner Gold badge that only a few will get into that exclusive club. Could you be the first? And then also, we will be doing some exclusive streams on our channel. These will involve new podcasts available for our members, as well as darting streams, where I'll play some of you guys on our live streams. On top of gaming streams, these will involve sport-orientated games, including the likes of FIFA and Football Manager. But those streams will only be available to our members for £4.99. There'll be a range of other big features that we'll be announcing in the coming months that will be in our community section of the channel. And we'll also have, of course, other features. These will involve playing some of you guys in FIFA and darts when we're not live, as well as also giving you the option of having a few shouts outs on stream. So don't forget, £4.99 is all that you need to pay for exclusive Sports Corner Premium package. Why not be the first to join today? And who knows, you could be the first to get the Sports Corner crown. So thank you, everybody, for attending my press conference. I'm out. So yeah, I'm sorry I've showed it a few times tonight. As I said, if you do want to subscribe to the Sports Corner Premium, you get a whole range of exclusive benefits that only members will get. The fee's £4.99 a month. You'll get exclusive streams, you'll get badges, emotes, and a whole range of other features which we will be announcing in due course. But that's the advertising out of the way, because we've got one more game on the night. Gary Anderson coming up against Glen Durrant, and this game should be quite the interesting one. I think a lot of us expect Glen Durrant to get whitewashed. Well, maybe not whitewashed, but battered again. And I think there's a lot of us out there who hope that he doesn't, and he can come out here and get something in the match. But looking at what you guys have said in the chat, a lot of people, of course, as you would expect, are going for Gary Anderson here. Peter is going for Anderson 7-3 Durrant. Oh, you're good, Peter. Good to see you in the stream as well. Daz saying 7-0 to Gary Anderson. He thinks there's going to be another whitewash on our hands here. And I pray to God, for Glen Durrant's sake, there's not a whitewash. I think he has to come into this game. And I thought last night it was going to be a different scenario. He looked pumped, really pumped up when it came into the walk-on. And I think that's his way to gear himself up going into this match. And I think he needs to do the same again. Gear himself up, go out there and think, look, with what's going on in the Premier League tonight, if I can get a point on the board, I'm still in touching distance of the rest of the pack. If he comes out with a defeat tonight, if he can get a tight result, it finishes maybe 7-5 to Gary Anderson, he can think that's a massive positive, because I've played much better than I have in recent days. But look, I want to see Glenn go out there and do something, but at the same time, I've got to back my boy Gary Anderson. But this was my prediction that I made before the tournament started. Did I go Gary Anderson, or did I back my man Duzza? Here's what I went for. And so we've made it to the end of night number 4, and I always say every single time I do a prediction, if Josh isn't absolutely pissed out of his head by now, then that's all good, because we've got one more game still to go, and hopefully he's still alive and kicking, as we've got Gary Anderson coming up against Glen Durrant for the last game of the evening. These guys, of course, were in the Final Four for the Premier League last year, and I'm not going to lie, I don't think this is going to be ending with a victory for either player. Again, I'm going with another draw on the night. That would be 3 draws out of a possible 5. Is that going to happen? Probably not, but I think, look, Gary Anderson, Glen Durrant, not really seen the best of them in terms of their form pre-Premier League of Darts. Don't forget, I am recording these before the tournament is even started, so I guess my predictions might change as the tournament continues on. Progressively, when we get past night 5 and when I do these prediction videos again, I'll be in a much better position even to predict these games. But I'm going for a 6-6 on the night. I think both players will cancel each other out, although wouldn't surprise me if Glen Durrant won this and he got one over Gary Anderson again, like he did in the Premier League of Darts in the semi-final only a few months ago. But put your predictions in the chat for the final game of the night. I hope you guys enjoyed these predictions. They're probably all wrong and shit, but who knows? We'll find out with our predictions, no doubt, for the final night coming up tomorrow. But as for now, let's get into the game between Gary Anderson and Glen Durrant. Should be a pretty good one. So that's the prediction I made for that game. Not going to lie, didn't hear it. Don't know what I said. Probably said Gary Anderson to win this game. But, I mean, what we'd like to see is Glen Durrant hit a 9-darter. If he hits a 9-darter, I'm jumping out the fucking window, because it'd be absolutely incredible. But look, at the end of the day, go out there, give yourself a good performance tonight, Glenn, because I think right now, everybody is backing Glenn just to go out there and get a bit of confidence and get something on the board. But let's get it underway with this game. It's the final game of the night. Glen Durrant up against Gary Anderson. Gary Anderson, in terms of what he's on right now in the table, he's currently sat with 3 points on the board, a win, a draw and a loss. Very respectable. Peter Wright, he played in yesterday's game, wasn't the... It was a weird one, that game, because I don't think Gary Anderson played well, but when you actually look at the stats, he played probably one of his better performances, and he arguably could have had more legs on the board in that match. But look, that doesn't matter right now. We get underway with the action. It's a repeat of the semi-final from last year's Premier League, as Gary Anderson gets us underway with this game against Glen Durrant, with Russ Bray being the referee. And if he can get anything from this game, I don't know, his average goes up, he gets a few 180s on the board. Glen Durrant has to go out there and get something on the board, and Chris says Durrant is going to turn up at some point, just a matter of when. And we've seen Rob Cross do it so far. Can Glen Durrant do the same, as Gary Anderson smacks in the first 180 of the game? And look, Gary Anderson tonight, he has to go out there, no sympathy for Glen Durrant, and just get the job done. Too many times I think players will have come up against him, and Johnny Clayton said it himself. When he came up against Durrant, he said, I felt for him, and that actually put me off my game. Anderson doesn't need to do that tonight. He just needs to think, right, if I'm 4, 5, 6 legs up, don't care about Glen Durrant, get the 7th and end the game, and then feel sympathy for him afterwards. As Gary Anderson's down to 90 here. Glen Durrant at 358. And the point that Chris has made, you can't be in bad form forever. Exactly. As Durrant gets a 140 on the board. But Gary Anderson here for 11 dart leg. Going to go down the 18s route with a 90 finish. And he won't be checking it out. As he's hit 7. So Glen Durrant might have a chance here to maybe put some pressure on Gary Anderson. Not going to be a great deal unless he gets the 180. But get himself under the 100 mark. And he will put Anderson under some pressure. And he does. He's got himself down, I think, to 124, which isn't too bad, I guess. But Anderson here, 2 darts at tops, which he takes. And it's a 1-0 lead for Gary Anderson. And all Glenn must think in this situation is don't get frustrated. We saw him last night in that loss against Dimitri Vandenberg. I think it was 3 or 4 legs in. He chucked the towel on the table. He nearly punched the board in, didn't he, at one point. But he's just got to keep calm. As he gets a 140 on the board here, Glen Durrant, to start the second leg of the match. And we saw Gary Anderson a little bit early on today. His record matched for the most 180s in a Premier League game. Jose de Sousa with 11 on the board. Gary Anderson's record not being smashed, but matched at the very least. But can Glen Durrant... Well, Glen Durrant's not going to get 12 180s, is he? But can he stick with Anderson for large spells of the game as he's in the lead in this second leg so far, as Anderson hits 2 treble 5s and a 20. And you feel maybe here is a big chance for Glen Durrant if he can get a few trebles on the board. Maybe take a nice early leg here and make it 1-1 in this match, and that will be a confidence booster as he gets himself down to 208 with Gary Anderson to about 197 points behind. So Anderson here with a 100. Come on, Durrant, get yourself a leg on the board. Keep yourself in control of this leg. As Chris says, Price, Wright, MVG missed the crowd the most. They're not as consistent and dominant as they used to be since no fans. And let's hope they're back soon. If we can be sat here, I won't be sat here in July, but if I can be in Blackpool in July at the darts, then everything would be brilliant, wouldn't it? It would be absolutely brilliant. So Durrant here, 112 finish. Not going to be able to check it out, unfortunately for him. But he will be coming back with Gary Anderson at 205. And this was his problem yesterday. He had a lot of opportunities in that match against Dimitri Vandenberg to finish. And he ended up in the match with a 0% checkout on doubles. And right now, Gary Anderson is allowing Durrant every opportunity to get a leg on the board. So, 3 darts at double 18. And 1 dart is all he needs. And that's a leg on the board for Glen Durrant. It's 1 apiece in this game. And when Gary Anderson isn't playing well, you have to capitalise on it. And I'm wondering here where maybe Gary Anderson is just thinking he can have quite an easy game against Durrant and he can sit back. You can't do that because Durrant, as we said before, he'll eventually turn up. Although saying that, he has started with 55 with his first 3 darts. As Carl's in the building. How are we doing, my good friend? Hope you're all good. Hopefully you enjoyed the Europa League tonight. At least, I think every game that the boys were covering, bar 1, had a goal, I think. Did Slavia Prague score late? I think somebody said in the chat it was 1-1 in that match. I'm guessing Rowan went mental with the equaliser. Arsenal fans probably crying right now. Because Slavia being at home next as well is a massive advantage for them. There's Gary Anderson here with a chance to maybe get a 180 on the board. And Kyle, we had another 9-darter tonight. So, an unbelievable night of action. We had a 9-darter and we nearly had a record broken as well. Which was unbelievable. So Anderson here at 170. Glen Durrant all the way back at 364. Good chance here for Gary Anderson to take a 2-1 lead in this match, which he's not going to check out the 170 here. But he will be coming back with 2 darts at tops for 42. We've done all the way back at 364. But can he get himself here Just a little bit of the margin back in the game. He gets 125. That gets him down to 239, but 6 darts in hand still for Gary Anderson here, with 2 darts at tops, and 1 is all he needs as Gary Anderson takes a 2-1 lead in this game. And if you're Gary now, you've surely got to be thinking in your head, look, let me get a 2, 3, 4 leg lead over Glen Durrant and kill this game off. Because you just don't want to let Glen Durrant have any chance of keeping this a tight match. As Gary Anderson here looks to smack in a 180 and does! And there's a 180 for Gary Anderson. That is the second on the board of this game, and that's 2 for Gary on the night. Glen Durrant still yet to hit a 180 in the tournament, I believe. Apparently 2-0 win tonight for Man United. Rashford and a Bruno Pen. Good result in the end, that, isn't it? Away from home. So Gary Anderson, maybe chance for a 9 dart. He's not going to get it after hitting treble 1 with his first dart. But 83 is not good enough there. And if Durrant can just get something on the board here, maybe a 140 or a 180, he might actually have a good chance to make this 2-2. He gets a treble 20 and gets another one, so it's a 140. And just like that, Glen Durrant right back in this leg. Although saying that, Gary Anderson here on for another 180, and he gets it. And just as Durrant must have thought he's got a chance to get back in this game, Gary Anderson hits his third 180 of the match, and he's in the driving seat here, unless Durrant checks out the 161, which he won't be able to do. And Gary Anderson here with a chance to make it 3-1 in this match, which you would expect him to take out. Gets the 18, 2 darts at tops. First dart's a good marker, and second dart doesn't go in, so unless Durrant checks out the 116 here, Gary Anderson will be coming back. And this would be a big check out if Glen Durrant was to get it, which he's going to have to now get treble 20 again, which he doesn't get, so Gary Anderson will be coming back at tops. And you feel here Gary Anderson might need to take this out, or else if Glen can make it 2-2, we know what Gary's like when he gets angry and frustrated. As he does take it out with his first dart, and it's 3-2 in this game. And as Glen Durrant must have been thinking, if he doesn't take it out, I've got a chance to make it 2-2. Gary now takes a 2-leg lead. It's 3-1. And if you're Glen Durrant, surely he's thinking in his head now, please not again. I don't want to get smashed up for another night in the Premier League. As he's currently 100% on doubles, but Glen Durrant's only had 1 chance to check out so far, hence why he's at 100% in this game so far. But when you look at the averages, Gary Anderson averaging 103.22, Glen Durrant averaging 89, which is just marginally better than his average in the tournament overall. In fact, he averaged 83 yesterday, so it is 6 points higher, but still not good enough for a player of Glen Durrant's standard. And he'll know that himself. He doesn't need to be told that his average isn't good enough. Although he is now up to the 90s here. Carl saying, I'm grand, Josh, thank you. Fantastic to hear. Glad you're well. And all are enjoying the darts. It's been a great night again. That 9-darter. I didn't think we were going to see a 9-darter for months again. But 2 in 2 nights we're being treated. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it or else I'll jinx it. But you know what I was going to say. You know what I was going to say. But we've been treated with 2 in 2. As Durrant gets a 140 here. Sorry, 123. He's down to 144. Gary Anderson at 195. So the Scot can only leave himself in a decent position to check out, which he does. And this is much better from Gary Anderson. Doesn't feel like he's averaging 100. But he's certainly putting in a very decent performance here. It's just his checkouts again that have been a bit of a problem. So Durrant not going to be able to check out the 144. Gary Anderson here with a chance to check out 62. With Durrant just behind at 48. And if he makes it 4-1 here, then Gary will surely be thinking in his head, I'll have this wrapped up fairly quickly. 1 dart at tops for Gary Anderson. And he takes it. And he's 4-1 in this game. And yet again, Glen Durrant has just got to keep himself going in this match. As the Premier League champion finds himself yet again potentially on the back of a hiding. And it's not what you want to see. course, he is sat at the bottom of the table on 0 points. And you just feel tonight is a detrimental night. Get that point on the board, and the likes of Sousa are just behind you. But now with 0 points on the board, as it stands, just nothing's going his way. And it's a real shame as Glen Durrant gets himself 39. And he's down to 363 after 6 starts. And again, if Gary Anderson could get a few trebles on the board, it could be 5-1. Which a 140 will do for Gary Anderson. He's down to 278 here. And he's averaging 102.19. And that's the thing right now. Durrant's still 100% on checkouts, but he's only had 1 chance in the game. And you feel now that Gary Anderson's got the leeway. He's able to go out there, and I don't see Gary Anderson dropping this game now. I think he's one of those players that when you're beating him, he can get very angry, very annoyed, and it allows you to get back into the match. And I was worried for a little bit that had Durrant made it 2-2, this would have been a much more scrappy game. But now Gary's got the lead. I think he's the type of person that will probably just think, let me beat him 7-1, get the game done with, and I'll worry about the sympathy a little bit later on. So Glen Durrant at 208 here, Gary Anderson at 88. He needs to get a 140, I think, here, minimum, just to put some pressure on Gary Anderson. He doesn't get a 140, but 100 will do. It gets him into checkout territory. But if Gary Anderson checks out this 88, then you just feel like there's no hope here for them to be able to get a leg on the board, as Gary doesn't check out the 7-7 for the 88 finish. And maybe a chance here for Glen Durrant to make it 4-2 if he can check out the ton plus. Gets a treble 7, which might be a happy accident if he gets the treble 17 and double 18. Gets the treble 17, double 18 for a 108 finish for Glen Durrant. And there's Glen Durrant! That's what you want! A ton plus finish, a smile on the face of Gary Anderson, and maybe a little bit of belief for Glen Durrant as he makes it 4-2 in the game. And that might just give him a little confidence booster in the match to try and get himself back into this game. And he needs to just put a little bit more pressure on Gary Anderson here. Get another leg on the board and it makes it even more nervy. But can he do it? You just feel like he needs to click for Glen Durrant as Gary starts to make a real mess of things, and Durrant needs to capitalise, and you can see the anger on his face. He's slowly bubbling, Gary, as you would expect him to. He's not the lightest head in the Premier League, is he? He's one of those where I think you can easily rattle him. As Daz says, well done on 2K subs, Josh. Thank you very much, Daz. Greatly appreciate it. It's been a team effort. It's not all down to me, it's down to the boys as well. Rowan, Kieran L, Kieran D, Will, Adam, they've all worked hard on all of the content on this channel to get us to where we are. So a big, massive thank you to them as well for getting us up to the 2K subs. But Glen Durrant at 280, Gary Anderson at 247. It's a scrappy leg, this one. Although saying that, Gary Anderson here turns a scrappy leg into a good one. It's a 180. Puts him down to 67. Glen Durrant all the way back at 280 here, and a chance for Gary Anderson to make it 5-2 on legs in the night as Ando hits his 4th maximum of the evening. Durrant only at 140. But will Gary Anderson check out the 67? Treble 17, double 8, which he gets, and it's 5-2 to Gary Anderson now as the hiccups kick in. Really good darts from Gary Anderson tonight. And all Durrant can do, who's still on 100% checkout success, by the way, has just got to try and get something and fast. As Carl's put in the chat, Josh, can I just wish you all the best with the, don't know the official name for it, but the join button going forward. Thank you very much, Kyle. Greatly appreciated, my friend. It's a tester. We're trying to see if it works or not with the premium service that we've got, but hopefully, as I said, if you guys enjoy the content on here, I'm thinking in the future, when I get a new dartboard, I want to do some games against you guys on stream. So we'll have like member exclusive dart nights where we'll play off against you guys on stream. So hopefully people do want to get on board with it. And maybe instead of you guys just donating your money, you might want to maybe put it into the subscription. But Glen Durrant here at 359. Gary Anderson at 346. You just want to see Glen Durrant hit a 180 or something and give him the confidence. Although saying that, he does get 85 to get himself down to 274. Gary Anderson at 289 here. And there does seem a bit of determination on his face, and that's what you want to see. You want to see him put up a good fight against Gary Anderson. And Anderson's just allowing Glen Durrant in this leg every opportunity to have a chance to get something in this game. He might get himself 100 here. In fact, he goes one better and he gets a 140. And when we look at Glen Durrant's average, he's currently averaging 90.36, which will be the first time in the tournament that Glen Durrant's averaged 90. But Ando gets 137. He's down to 152. Glen Durrant here going to have to try and check out the 134, which he's not going to be able to. And a chance maybe for Gary Anderson to check out 152, which would be quite the finish here. But he's not going to get it in the end. And Glen Durrant has a chance to make it 5-3 in this game if he can check out on tops. But he's going to be under some pressure because Gary Anderson's down to 24. So tops here for Durrant for 5-3. First dart really high. Second dart ricochets off the board but wouldn't have gone in. And the third dart hits the 20. And a chance there for Glen Durrant to get something on tops, and he doesn't. And now Gary Anderson here with a chance at double 12. Two darts at double 6. And he does get it. And that's a guaranteed point for Gary Anderson. And Glen Durrant finds himself yet again in a position here where if he doesn't win the next 4 legs in a row, then that will be 4 defeats on the bounce for the defending Premier League champion, who has just not had the greatest night in the world. As Dazza says, I'm thinking if I should have a second can drink. There's not much action left now. I think we'll be done in about 10 or 15 minutes time, but let's hope Glen Durrant can get a few back on the board here. He really needs to, or else Gary Anderson is going to have a fairly comfortable win on the night. And he's looking here for a 140, Gary, which he gets. So he's down to 266. And he's got quite the advantage here in this leg to take it and get a big 2 points on the board, especially after that pretty, I would say, disappointing result against Peter Wright yesterday. He'll not be happy with how he played in that match with his checkouts. So Dimitri Vandenberg top right now. And a big win here for Gary Anderson will put him with the rest of the pack. And that table is looking really interesting. With how it's panning out, we expected this Premier League to be one of the most competitive ones. And it certainly is, as we expected it to be. And that's what makes the darts so good. It's a great Premier League so far after 4 nights. As Durrant is down to 170. I mean, what would be the chance here that Does have checked out the 170 and was the first man to check it out? Starts with a 20, so he won't be doing that, sadly. Maybe in a dream world he did. And he's not going to be able to check it out, so only 58 will allow Gary Anderson a chance here to make it 7-2 with a 116 finish. Starts with a 19. He needs a treble 19, which he's not going to get. So Durrant will be back at the 112. Can he take it out and make it 6-3 and just extend this game a little further? With Gary Anderson at 56. Maybe another ton plus on the board. He did it earlier on. And he won't do it this time as he gets a 1. So Gary Anderson will be coming back here for 56, and look at his reaction. I mean, it's not what you want to see, is it? It's a shame. And he only gets 23. So a chance here for Gary Anderson to seal the deal with 2 darts at tops. And Gary Anderson takes home a good victory against Glen Durrant. And in the end, does finds himself on the back of 4 defeats in a row, and the defending Premier League champion is having a Premier League of nightmares. Glen Durrant, again, he tried his best tonight, and his average certainly improved. He got it up towards the 88 that he had before, but in the end, Gary Anderson, with over, I think, a 97.56 average, it was a pretty comprehensive result, as you would expect from Gary Anderson, and he gets himself a pretty good victory on the board, and 2 points that he would have expected overall in this game. And that means the night's action is all done and dusted. You can see on the order of play on your right hand side of the screen, Vandenberg in a 6-6 draw against Peter Wright in the first match of the evening. Johnny Clayton, he found himself on the back of a 7-3 defeat to Rob Cross. What a surprising result that was earlier on in the evening. But the game of the tournament, I said it last night, I'm saying it again, it was Sousa Aspinall, a 9-darter, and Sousa very nearly broke the record for the most 180s by a single player in a match. He got 11 in the game to match Gary Anderson, but what a game it was. Aspinall somehow coming out with what would be an incredible point for him. James Wade with a 7-3 win over Van Gerwen, and then a moment ago Gary Anderson with a 7-2 win, which puts him into, I believe, 7th place. Gary Anderson, a big result indeed overall. Don't forget, there's more content to come on the channel over the next week. Here's a quick look at some of the content to come before we talk about that game, which was a quite comfortable victory for Gary Anderson. Here's a look at what's to come on the Sports Corner. It's a big week of action on the Sports Corner, with lots of content still to come through the midweek and into the weekend. Don't forget, our multi-stream option is still available on the channel for the final day as the Premier League of Darts Night 4 continues, with the start of the Europa League quarter-finals beginning tonight. As we'll be live with the Premier League of Darts, you can join the rest of the Sports Corner team from 7:50 for all of the action in the Europa League quarter-final first leg goal show. And then on Friday morning from 10 AM you can join Rowan live for the A-League action, which includes MacArthur Bulls taking on Brisbane Roar. Then on Friday, the last night of Premier League Darts action, you can join me live from 7:05, who's going to get the final few points on the board before the break. And then on Saturday, it's El Clasico. You can join me from 5 to 8 on Saturday night for a whole host of action on the Sports Corner. So there's a look at some of the content on the channel. If you are new to the stream, don't forget to leave a like and a subscription if you have enjoyed tonight's action, because we've got more to come tomorrow from the Premier League of Darts. But first of all, let's take a look at that match between Gary Anderson and Glen Durrant and just have a quick talk about it before we do get towards the end of the stream. Gary Anderson tonight, a very simple result, wasn't it? It was expected that he was going to go out there and beat Glen Durrant, and this rot that Glen Durrant is in, eventually it will end, and I feel people are so desperate for him to just get that point on the board and have a bit of confidence, but he just doesn't seem to be able to get it right now. And look, he got a check out of 108, Glen Durrant, an 87.90 average, which is one of the higher averages he's had in this tournament. He knows he'll need to improve, but he tried his hardest tonight, and I did think at points maybe Gary Anderson was going to allow him into the game, and he did. There was a few little moments here and there where I thought Gary could maybe give a leg or two away, especially at the early stage of the match. But Gary Anderson, 4 180s, a 58.33 checkout success, and a 97.56 average was very, very good overall from Gary Anderson, and he gets a quite simple victory on the board. But, you know, for Glen Durrant, the rot will end at some point. And I hope it does for him, because he's a great player to watch, and I think everybody in the darts community just hates seeing how things are going for him right now. And hopefully, in a few days, whenever that will be, whenever he gets that win or draw on the board, we can sit here and say he's got something and a bit of confidence to go into the other games in the coming weeks. But that is all of the action for night number 4 in the Premier League. We've got one more night of action left. But what games are coming up? You might be wondering. Well, here's your answer. Tomorrow night, we all start with Gary Anderson coming up against Johnny Clayton, both players. It'll be quite interesting to watch this one. Clayton on the back of his first defeat. Will he bounce back, or will Gary Anderson continue his winning form? Match number 2, we'll see Peter Wright against Rob Cross. Both players playing really, really well tonight, but who will come out on top in that game? Looking forward to that one. Another really good game on the night. Michael van Gerwen, he comes up against Nathan Aspinall. But MVG coming off the back of a defeat to James Wade, but Aspinall coming off the back of a 6-6 win. I think it's a brilliant result for him. Can he get a result against MVG tonight and maybe make MVG question his run so far in the tournament? Game number 4 sees James Wade against Glen Durrant. James Wade, of course, good win against MVG tonight. Can he get a victory, or will Glen Durrant finally get his first points on the board? And then match number 5 of the night, it is the debutants up against each other. What a match this could be. Both players have been averaging over 100 for a large part of this tournament, but will Vandenberg de Sousa turn out to be a thrilling affair? That is all of the action tonight. Thank you very much to everybody that has joined on the stream. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Once again, for those of you that haven't left a subscription, please do if you did enjoy it tonight. I'll be back tomorrow from 7:05. And if you want to keep up to date when the rest of our streams do go live, our Twitter is @_topcorner and our Instagram is _sportscorner_. Do go and check those out if you want to see, of course, when we do go live on our YouTube. And also check out the sports-corner.com. We've got new articles available on our channel over the next coming weeks, including a look at the Champions League action over the last week. So, last night, we sat there and we thought, are we going to get a 9-darter? We did. Did anybody really think we were going to get another 9-darter tonight? For a man who miscounted and then a leg later got a 9-darter, Jose de Sousa really is a special one. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow night. Good night.